presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
What a beautiful night for baseball. The month of June coming to a close. The Brewers are in first place. Fans are filing in to Miller Park as we get ready for the start of a three-game series between the Brewers and the Marlins here at Miller Park. And tonight for the Marlins, it's a three-headed monster. Marcell Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton, Justin Bour have combined for 59 home runs on the season. That is the second-best trio in all of baseball. And for the Brewers, well, they can swing a hot bat as well. We've been following them all season long, and over their last 4 games, they've been heating up. 13 home runs in their last 4 games, and 8 different players going long. Good evening, everyone. Sophia Minnaert here at Miller Park. And for the Brewers, it's got a different looking lineup for Craig Counsell, but he says the way that his offense is swinging right now, he feels very good about the lineup that he has put together. Eric Sodar leading off, but playing at shortstop. No Ryan Braun, scheduled day off for him as he comes back from the calf strain. And Eric Thames will miss his second straight game as he tries to work his way out of a slump. But Jesus Aguilar was a very capable replacement for Thames at first last night. It was a career night for him as he had a 3-run home run. Part of 3 hits for him, the 3rd time he's done that in his career, and a career high 4 RBIs. So Aguilar spoke about the offensive approach and what is rolling right now for this Brewers offensive unit.
It was a great night last night. We got a lot of young power, and we saw last night. So we got to keep going. We got to keep doing good swings. I think we can repeat that.
Aguilar had one of 6 home runs for the Brewers last night. Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder will take a look at the Crew's offense coming up next after the break.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. By Hupy and Abraham, voted best, rated best. Hupy and Abraham, tell them you mean business. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. I believe those are done. Take them off the grill. It's time to eat as we get set for baseball tonight on a Friday. You see the Brewers lead the Cubs by a game as they return home to Miller Park to start this homestand. Brewers are 3 games over 500. Just a moment ago, great moment here at Miller Park as Corey Hart, who will be inducted into the Brewers Wall of Honor, throwing out the ceremonial first pitch. Eddie Cedar is his catcher. Longtime friends, coach and mentor to the player. And it's come full circle here, an embrace near home plate. That was a special moment. We're going to talk to Corey Hart a little bit later in our broadcast. And with that, what a way to get us started here for our homestand. Great to have you with us, folks. I'm Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. We'll hear from Sophia Menard in just a moment. Well, these two teams can bang with the best of them. The Miami Marlins are in town. They play in a big pitcher-friendly ballpark, so the home run numbers as a team don't stand up, but the Brewers and the Marlins, you figure, are going to put up a lot of home runs in this series.
Yeah, the Marlins got 3 guys that can bang with anybody. I mean, a lot of home runs, but the Brewers can hit home runs on their own. They had 6 last night. You know what they have? 121 for the season. They're tied for the Nationals for the league lead in home runs. I mean, responsible for 8 of 11 runs last night. Outstanding. The 6 home runs, 1 away from a franchise record. So you figure there's going to be some baseballs flying out of here these next 3 days.
Well, no Ryan Braun in the lineup here today, but the others are in there, and we got a couple of pitchers on the mound who have no-hitters on their records. This year, the only no-hitter is from Edinson Volquez in the major leagues. He'll match up against Matt Garza, who had one as a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. We got lineups and first pitch coming your way. He ended its road trip last night with one of the best home run displays in franchise history. Now the crew returns to Miller Park, facing one of the best power-hitting trios in the game. Can the starters on the mound, with no hitters on their resumes, contain the offenses tonight? Will the Miller Park magic continue in the final homestand before the All-Star break? It's the Marlins and the Brewers on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And there is Matt Garza in his retro Friday uniform, leading the Brewers out on the field here at Miller Park on a beautiful night for baseball. 79 degrees. So far, the rains have stayed away, and we're set up for a dandy tonight, first of the series with the Marlins. And tonight's game on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Sun shining in. Don Mattingly and the Miami Marlins arrived to town for the first time this season. Marlins come in with a record of 35-42. They are 11 games back in their division, the National League East, in 4th place, trailing the Washington Nationals. They've got some interesting pieces in their ball club, especially in their lineup. This is a very good hitting lineup you'll see today. The batting order is brought to you by Potawatomi, and Mattingly lines them up like this, with Gordon, Stanton, and Yelich at the top, Ozuna, Boer, and Real Muto in the middle, Dietrich, Riddle, and Volquez rounding out the starting 9. And that's a lineup that will face Matt Garza.
Yeah, Garza making start number 12, a 443 earned run average. You can see his record 3-4. He's lost 2 in a row. The Pirates beat him here at Miller Park, and he lost in Atlanta against the Braves, making career start number 9 against the Marlins. He's currently 3-3. Let's check out the Menards defense for the Brewers. Got some changes. No Ryan Braun, no Arcia, and no Thames. It's going to be Aguilar at first base, Shaw at third, Sogard, VR up the middle. Perez, Broxton, Santana round out the Menards defense.
Umpires in place tonight, assigned by the commissioner. Alan Porter will call the balls and strikes. Crew chief is Joe West. He has gone over the 5,000 games umpired mark. Hunter Wendelstedt out at second base. John Lipka is the third base umpire. And we're ready to go. All the pieces in order. And game 1 of this homestand, game 1 of this series against the Miami Marlins, as Garza faces D. Gordon. The Marlins tonight have 5 left-handed batters in their lineup against Garza. First pitch swinging is Gordon, and right there is VR, and that's a good way to get the evening started. 1 pitch and 1 out for Garza.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that. A lot of early swings by the Marlins. They do not walk a lot. They don't strike out much either because they're on the attack. They're not a group typically that likes to work counts too much.
Giancarlo Stanton has been elevated to the 2 spot in the batting order. The reigning home run derby champion. Remember, the All-Star game is going to be in Miami this season, and Stanton will be the featured act in the home run derby this year, trying to defend his title. Stanton comes in with 21 home runs, 50 RBIs. He's hit 20 or more homers in all 8 of his major league seasons, and in 3 of those seasons he's gone 34 plus. Twice he's hit 37 in a season, but as is the case around baseball, the home run numbers are skyrocketing, and Giancarlo Stanton has 21 already before we get to the All-Star break.
Yeah, and the distances have been pretty impressive too.
Stephen Vogt getting the call behind the plate with Garza on the mound. First time he's caught him, and Garza is in there with a strike. Vogt making his Miller Park debut for the Brewers here tonight. Got 1 start in Cincinnati. Actually swung the bat very well in game 2 of that series against the Reds, and with his new team and his new gear, glad to be here in his home surroundings now. One and 2 the count on Stanton. Of course, this is the spot, Miller Park, one of the worst moments of Giancarlo Stanton's career. 2014, September of that year, when he was hit by a pitch thrown from Mike Fiers and hit him in the face. Bad injuries, surgeries, fractures in the face. 3 years removed from that experience, and a swing and a miss. Garza strikes him out. Second out of the inning. His first punch out comes to Stanton.
Well, the Garza off-speed stuff has been pretty good this year. Wasn't bad in Atlanta. The curveball slider combination. This is a slider off the outside corner. Stanton waves at it.
Well, tonight will be imperative to keep the Marlins off the base paths as much as you can, especially the base runners. The Garza-Vogt connection is not going to be very good holding runners and preventing stolen bases. Vogt struggles throwing the ball. Garza struggles holding runners on. And I think Craig Counsell, Derek Johnson, the pitching coach, basically saying, we're going to give that part to the Marlins here tonight. We're going to consider that a loss, and we're going to try to go at them elsewhere. That's a hot smash off the bat of Yelich. Gets right by Travis Shaw on a base hit with 2 away.
Yeah, the one thing going for the Brewers, this is not a team that runs a whole lot. Yelich will run. He's got a few stolen bases. But D. Gordon has the large majority of their stolen bases as a team. So they're able to keep him off the bases.
Now D. Gordon with 29 steals this season. Yelich is second on their ball club with 7. So a 2-out base runner. We'll see how aggressive Yelich will be on the base paths. And here comes Marcell Ozuna, who's putting together a monster year. Look at those numbers. .314 hitter, 20 homers, 54 driven in.
And he's hitting over 300.
He's got an OPS at .940 coming in. .377 is the on-base percentage in that formula. He's having an all-star year. Ozuna is top 10 in the National League in homers and hits, total bases, slugging percentage, and multi-hit games. Fly ball right field deep. Back is Santana at the wall, and he makes a catch over the shoulder. A 10-pitch inning and a long, loud out to end it, and Garza is through the top of the first. Beautiful weather on a Friday night. You got Summerfest going on the waterfront at Lake Michigan, and Brewers baseball back home starting tonight. Craig Counsell, the former Marlin, scored the most significant run in Marlins history managing the Brewers. His Potawatomi batting order looks like this. Eric Sogard leads off. VR back in the starting lineup hitting second. Then Aguilar hits third. In the middle goes Shaw, Santana, and Perez, with Stephen Vogt, Keon Broxton, and Matt Garza rounding out the starting 9. That will face the only man with a no-hitter in the big leagues this year, Edinson Volquez.
Yeah, did that his first start in June 3rd against Arizona. And no-hitter, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts for Edinson Volquez. Of course, his last 3 have not gone all that well. He's given up some runs and walking some batters.
Volquez facing Sogard to start it. Sogard had a day off from the starting lineup last night in Cincinnati. He continues to be on a tear at the plate. And for a guy who never had an OPS over 700 throughout his career, he's riding at .951 right now and an on-base percentage of .447. He has been so impressive for the Brewers this season, and maybe a day off was just what he needed. Get a little bit of a breather before the homestand begins.
Well, with Jonathan VR in the lineup, Craig Counsell elects to keep Sogard in that leadoff spot. VR hitting second. It's not broke, don't fix it.
2 balls and a strike on Sogard, who's hitting .339 coming in. Counsell giving Orlando Arcia the day off today. Just talking to Craig, though, it didn't feel like Arcia is getting the day off because he's tired or needs a day off. I think it's maybe more to keep VR in the mix, right? Is that your opinion as well?
Yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with a day off. He's probably going to play the rest of the way, through the first half. But you got to get VR in the wheel. You got to try to get him going. It'd be nice to be able to get some production out of VR, and you can't do that with him sitting on the bench.
And it's tough to sit a guy too who had 2 home runs in a game last night. Bat's gone. He's been on the disabled list. And Craig Counsell trying to keep everybody in the mix, which he's done a very good job at this season. As Sogard walks again, this guy just keeps on getting on base. Feels like every night he's on at least twice. And now the wheels in motion for the manager with VR coming up.
Yeah, defense for the Marlins brought to you by Menards. They're very tidy defensively. Only 39 errors. Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton in the outfield. You got some pretty good throwing arms out there. Dietrich, Riddle, Gordon, and Bohr from third to first, and JT Realmuto behind home plate.
Very athletic young catcher. A.J. Ellis is the backup catcher here with the Marlins. We'll probably get a chance to see him maybe Sunday, and Ellis has been a great mentor for Realmuto. A.J. Ellis, the lone big leaguer that lives in Wisconsin in the offseason. He gets top billing here tonight. VR on the first pitch, hits it hard into center field. Yelich is over, and he'll make the catch for the out. As you see, the Marlins play their outfield very deep.
All of them run pretty well. They cover the gaps very nicely, and they can throw the baseball.
There's Don Mattingly. He's one of my favorite players growing up. New York Yankees first baseman. Had one of the sweetest swings ever, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I played against him. Tough guy to get out. He stood on top of the plate and had lightning quick hands on the inside corner.
Back injuries probably are what kept him out of the Hall of Fame. But what a player he was. Managed the Dodgers. Now he's here in Miami for the second year.
And could pick it at first.
Yeah, he was sweet over there. Actually played other infield positions as a left-hander. He was so good. Played third base.
I played in the Puerto Rican Winter League in 1983. And Don Matting was there with a different team. He was learning how to play first base there. He was an outfielder when he got called up.
Okay.
They sent him to winter ball to learn how to play first. It didn't take him very long.
Became one of the slickest fielding first basemen. Jesus Aguilar back in the starting lineup tonight. He launched a home run last night as well. Hit a 3-run shot. Brewers had a fun game last night, the kind of game that they needed after losing the first 2 in the series against Cincinnati. Matter of fact, both series of the road trip ended with lopsided Brewer wins. Brewers went 2-4 on the road trip. Last night they won 11-3. Jimmy Nelson picking up his 6th win. He went 7 innings. He was terrific.
Going to have to shoulder the burden with Chase Anderson on the disabled list now. It's going to be the Jimmy Nelson to be at the top of the rotation.
Aguilar takes a ball. Yeah, Brewers made more moves today. Sophia will get into that a little bit later, but more rotation decisions coming, you would imagine. Today's moves were strictly for the next few days based on the bullpen. And essentially the Brewers are operating with a 4-man rotation until Chase Anderson's spot comes up Tuesday. And they're going to keep 9 in their bullpen. So plenty of fresh arms out there for Craig Counsell.
And Brewers don't have to make a decision about that starter until Tuesday.
Orioles are coming in next week, beginning Monday. Aguilar gets jammed, a little flare. Long run over for Gordon, and it drops between Bohr and Gordon, but an out at second. Sogard in no man's land. And he'll be put out on a 3-6 put out.
Yeah, nothing he could do. I mean, Sogard, because that baseball was so close to first base, had to get back. If they caught it, might have gotten doubled up if he was halfway. He goes back to first. The ball drops, and there's nothing he can do. Yeah, Bohr makes an easy throw over to second base to get the lead out.
So it'll be a fielder's choice. Aguilar reaches first. 2 outs in the inning. Here comes Travis Shaw. Well, you know, he's glad to be back home. Travis Shaw had a good road trip. Travis currently 3rd among third basemen in RBIs in the National League, trailing Jake Lamb and Nolan Arenado. Been some excellent third base play, offensive minded third baseman in the National League this year. But Shaw's hanging right there with him. Top 10 in the National League in doubles and RBIs and extra base hits.
Probably the most consistent hitter the Brewers have had this year. I mean, he really hasn't gone into any of those, you know, 0 for 15, 16 slides. There was a point in time in the beginning of April where he was having a difficult time. It didn't last too long.
Those are the ranks among third basemen in the majors, not just the National League, but in the major leagues. Nobody saw this coming at this level, maybe other than Travis Shaw, who was supremely confident in what he was going to be able to do if given a chance to play every day, and the Brewers making the trade with the Red Sox to give him that chance. That was a 4-player for 1-pitcher deal that the Brewers are sitting pretty with right now. One of the other players in that deal, Mauricio Dubon, is in the futures game. Young prospect shortstop. There's that changeup by Volquez. That's his pitch. Shaw out in front of it.
Yeah, it's basically, you know, fastball for Volquez. I mean, cruising speed about 93. He can reach back and give a little extra when he needs it. A lot of changeups, and he's got a curveball to go with it. That's a nice changeup on the outer half.
Longtime Cincinnati Red. He's got a lot of games against the Brewers, and here at Miller Park, as Shaw sends one deep to right, backing up Stanton. He's got just enough room. And the first inning ends for each team with long fly ball outs to right. Just missed it on the bat.
Marlins as we head to the second here at Miller Park. Our scoops from the clubhouse brought to you by Car Soup. Manager Craig Counsell addressing the roster move. Jorge Lopez option backed to AAA Colorado Springs after pitching 2 innings last night in Cincinnati. So they have called up reliever Rob Scahill. Tyler Cravey also optioned to AAA. And Counsell said that really with Lopez, he says you feel bad when it is just 1 day, but said the 2 innings that he covered, he did his job by the bullpen not having to get anyone up. It's a big impact as they head into the weekend and also as they prepare for Monday. Counsell saying that in order to fill Chase Anderson's spot in the rotation, they are considering some internal options. They have 9 relievers in the pen, so he says the plan right now, take it day by day and see what that shakes out for Monday.
All right, Sophia, thank you. 9 relievers in the bullpen. Now, 4 of those pitchers in the bullpen have been starters this year, so there are options where you could run a guy out there who's been a starter, somebody like Paolo Espino or Brent Suter, maybe even Josh Hader. Although Hader seems unlikely because of his value in the high leverage situations late in games.
He's not stretched out quite at this point. Yeah, Lopez with 2 innings yesterday and did a nice job finishing up Jimmy Nelson's win. And Scahill, he's been up a couple of different times, and Tyler Cravey, interesting move, taking him off the 40-man.
I believe that takes the Brewers to 82 transactions this season.
Right.
Garza facing Justin Bour, and he lines one into right center. That's going to be down for a hit. And the second hit for the Marlins is a single to right center.
I think the Brewers have 2 thoughts. I mean, one is a short-term, fix for the starting rotation, just trying to get into the All-Star break. I think they're going to need that starter, whoever starts on Tuesday. They're going to need 2 spots to get through the All-Star break. Probably the last day in New York. You're going to need that 5th starter. We'll see what they do. Maybe get a bullpen game on Tuesday. They've got options.
Well, and what happens here in the next few days dictates what they're going to do with that spot too. If you get a position player injured and you might need an extra position player, or if you have a game where it takes a number of relievers to get through, or a long extra inning game, I don't blame the Brewers for not. They know what they want to do. Let's put it that way. They're just not ready to announce what they want to do, because no need to sound the alarms for all the individuals who it will affect until you have to. So that's standard. JT Realmuto, and he sends one into deep left center. That's going to be playable. Hernan Perez makes the catch, and the Marlins catcher is retired.
Hey, it's an interleague showdown over Independence Day as the Brewers welcome the Baltimore Orioles for a 3-game series this upcoming Monday through Wednesday. To reserve your spot at the Crew's 4th of July face-off with the O's, head to Brewers.com today.
Note the start times for each of those games: 1:10 on the 3rd of July, 3:10 4th of July, and then back to the 6:10 start on July 5th. So a little bit out of the ordinary for what you'd see midweek at Miller Park, but it's a holiday week.
I like day games.
Heck yeah, especially
would have been nice to have one yesterday. Would have been nice to have one yesterday.
Yeah, by the way, who you got to call to make sure that never happens again? That was an early morning arrival for the Brew Crew. Not too bad though.
Now 1:30 at home.
Reds got what they deserved. An 11-3 loss. Derek Dietrich batting with 1 out. One of the 5 lefties in the starting lineup for Don Mattingly. Justin Bour at first. Garza's tempo slows considerably when runners are on base. Bour is not a stolen base threat. Aguilar not even holding him on here. And there's a jam shot foul and out of play. 1 stolen base for Bour if you're counting.
Yeah, you play behind, Bour, keeping him just close enough to Bour to not to allow him to get too big of a lead, and you're able to cover a little bit more ground with a left-hander Dietrich at the plate.
Garza pitching on the road in Atlanta last time out, took the loss, but he pitched okay in that game. He had a couple of shaky innings, and one of those innings was able to pitch out of it. He went 6. He gave up 3 earned runs. Most impressively for Garza, he didn't walk a batter. Just 94 pitches in those 6 innings, but the Brewers were down 3-1 at the time, and that was just one of those games the Brewers couldn't get the offense going and lost the game to the Braves 3-1. So Garza's lost back-to-back starts. His 3 wins this year have come against the Cardinals on the road, home against the Mets, and he beat the Braves here at home as well back in April. A swing and a foul tip. Did he hang on? They're checking. Did it hit the ground? And Alan Porter says it did hit the ground, and now Craig Counsell wants an explanation. Nobody really called it.
Yeah, nobody said anything. It looked like Porter was thinking it didn't hit the ground. It did.
And it was a foul tip. These are not reviewable, by the way. This came up in a game yesterday in the Cubs Nationals game. Dusty Baker actually got ejected. And when replay first was coming together and the things that you could and or can and cannot see with the replay speeds available, foul tips were one of them. But that's kind of changed here in the last couple of years. And
well, with one like that, you could clearly see and hear that it was foul tipped and it hit the dirt.
Might be one to revisit on something that could be reviewable. I guess my opinion on it is if you can see it and it's available for replay, then go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, that and interference on the bases is not reviewable, especially that one where the runner is going down to first base. There's no reason why that shouldn't be reviewable. He's either in the running path or not. But we digress.
Let's get more replay, Rock. You're going down that road. I could sense it. 2-2 pitch. And a called strike three. A little bit of a late call, but a ring up nonetheless. And strikeout number 2 for Garza.
Alan Porter giving a little bit off that outside corner. Just missed the outside corner. You can see it right there at 93, but too close to take with 2 strikes. Nobody has that good of an eye.
So 2 gone, runner at first. That was a leadoff single by Bohr. And here comes JT Riddle. Danny Echeverria was traded to the Tampa Bay Rays. Marlins had some young prospects coming up. Riddle, one of them. So Echeverria is no longer with the Marlins. Very talented defensive shortstop. And they feel like they've got a couple of young pieces that are going to be able to carry the load for a while. Pretty good defensive team here with the Marlins. Good arms across the outfield. A lot of range in the infield. Good catcher.
No way they can play any better defense than the Reds did against Milwaukee. That was a defensive clinic, that series against Cincinnati.
Yeah, otherwise the Brewers had a legitimate chance to not just win the series, maybe sweep the series against Cincinnati.
Yeah, they took away a lot of runs with that defense.
2 balls and a strike. JT Riddle. 3 homers, 23 RBIs. This is the left-handed version of what will eventually be a platoon, you think, for a little time anyway. Two the count. Bohr still at first. And timeout is asked for by the catcher Vogt, I believe. I think he wanted to start this one over again.
Yeah, just trying to get a sense for what Garza likes to throw and when. The pattern of pitches. What he likes to go to. Inside, outside with a fastball. Breaking pitches.
See what he has in mind. 2-2 the count. And it's down and in. 3-2. Remember, the pitcher is coming up next. Got a young hitter at the plate. You'd love to have the pitcher lead off next inning, but you still have to make, as they say, your pitch as a pitcher. Full count, 2 outs. Bohr goes, and that's into left field, slicing, long run for Perez, and he'll run it down. Comes to a slide. That was fair territory. Could have been an extra base hit, maybe even a run. Beautiful play by Hernan Perez. Not bad for a shortstop. Inning is over. Johnson, here we go to the bottom of the second. We are scoreless. We have a special guest in the booth. Have two special guests, actually. Mark Atanasio, Brewers owner, and Zoe McNitt. And we're going to introduce you to Zoe and tell all of you about her great program and why we want to support her. But, Mark, this is really something that's near and dear for you. And as we get this inning started here, why don't you walk us through this process and how Zoe ended up on Brewers television tonight?
Yes, no one's more surprised than Zoe. She's on Brewers television.
We kind of sprung this on her, didn't we?
We did.
A little bit.
Kind of backed her into it. She said, I've never been on television. I said, well, here's your inaugural effort. So, you know, with all the excitement around the team, and we'll say it while we're here, while we're in first place. You notice they announced this as the first place Brewers. One of the things Debbie and I feel so good about is how the Brewers are part of the community and also the extended family of Brewers. So tonight we had Corey Hart and his family here, and that felt great. Last night, Cecilia Gore hosted at her home an event for Sojourner Peace Center, which does, you know, wonderful work for families that have, you know, come under strain because of an act of violence. And tonight we have Tia's Hope, which Zoe is a board member and a founder of.
Santana with a soft liner to short for out number one. Continue, Mark.
And it's named after Zoe's mom, Tia Palermo, who's one of my wife Debbie's, you know, closest friends, who passed away from cancer about 5 years ago. Zoe.
Yep.
So the daughters wanted to do something in their mom's memory, and they thought about tying her memory to helping kids who've had serious illnesses and giving them something, you know, that's fun and hopeful and forward-looking to participate in.
There's a line drive, a base hit for Hernan Perez. Your first base hit on television.
So you're bringing.
Good job. You're already succeeding. You feel good? You feel confident?
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
You're bringing us good luck here, Zoe. Then they keep you up here.
Now, let me pick up the story a little bit with you, Zoe, because these memory moments, first of all, what an incredible thing to do for your mom in her honor, and the legacy that you're carrying on and taking what must have been an extremely difficult time, and I'm sure is still difficult, and turning into something that is so incredible. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about these memory moments and what you try to do and what your hope is for this project.
So beginning in 2012, since 2012, actually, we've impacted over 5,000 families through sporting events, gift bags, and holiday parties. And we try to create these memory moments, which were something that my mom used to tell us, you know, if there's something really special, you know, look around, remember it forever. It'll be a memory moment that you'll hold on to. And we hope that these are moments that these children, if they ever have to go back in the hospital, will, you know, be able to hold on to in times of need and in difficult times.
Is there a specific moment? Maybe you can give us a few examples that have touched you in a special way, or something that you can tell us about recently that has happened that you can share with our audience?
So at City of Hope, for instance, one of our partner hospitals out in LA, we did a holiday party there, and there was a child who had recently undergone surgery, and he wasn't wanting to interact, and he came out for one of our holiday parties, and the nurses said that this was the first time he had smiled since the surgery, and he didn't want to leave. We ended up having to close down, you know, eventually, and he stayed till the very end.
That's great. And Mark, your connection obviously is a familiar connection with Debbie, but what are some of the things that you'd like to see happen with Tia's Hope, and what's you know, as we open up a significant spotlight here tonight for Tia's Hope, what would you like to see from our audience, perhaps?
Well, first of all, I want to you know, thank our players today who stopped in to Travis Shaw, Eric Sogard, Corey Knebel, Brett Suter was out, and I'm forgetting. And Chase Anderson came, and once he'd had his you know, some of his injury stuff taken care of, you know, and you first of all, you see the looks on these kids' faces when they see these major league ball players, and more to the point, for each child who was there were 4 or 5 family members.
Vogt pulls one foul.
So you realize when children get ill like this, it affects an entire family, and the look on everyone's face today, I would say, Zoe, nobody wanted to leave today. And that was it's a really nice thing. Major League Baseball Players Association, by the way, has been very supportive of the this effort. So I don't know what is your website if someone wants to go on and learn more about the charity?
It is tiashope.org.
tiashope.org.
TIASHOPE, no apostrophe there. TIASHOPE.org. Tiashope. And it's on the screen, and you can get involved. And as you connect to hospitals, that one's in the dirt. Perez is on the run. He'll make it without a throw. So the Brewers with a runner in scoring position on a wild pitch. And Zoe, give us an idea about all the hospitals that are involved, how you've grown since 2012, and where you hope to bring this. Do you have a ceiling for this project?
No ceiling. Our goal is that every year as we add hospitals, we never want to leave them. We want to stay with them, make sure that we've established our relationship and keep it going, till the end.
Where's the biggest need for you right now with this foundation? What would you say? Is it financial needs? Is it connecting to hospitals?
We always love donations. We're always open to hearing about adopting new hospitals, and we love volunteers.
Yeah.
And we've done things with Children's Hospital here. Or which hospital? Children's Hospital, Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, yeah.
Nice
They're here tonight.
Nice to know a guy who owns a Major League Baseball team, too.
It's handy.
Especially when that team's in first place.
Yeah, right. Very happy owner.
By the way, to our fans, David Stearns cautions me it's one game at a time, but you can see I'm enjoying this.
You got there's a lot more to talk to Mark about, by the way, and I definitely want to spend some time on the Wall of Honor. We're going to hear from Corey Hart in a little bit. And Zoe, we want you to just go along for the ride here and enjoy a little Major League Baseball. You've done a great job so far for never being on television.
Thank you.
We hope we can raise a lot of funds. It's a pretty big voice for Major League Baseball. But Mark, before we move on, talk about some of the other things, I do want to just talk about the philanthropic aspect of your world, you and Debbie, and the things that you've done and why it's important to you. We have you up here with Michael Milken every year with prostate cancer research and PCF, and I know it's a really important piece of your ownership.
And one thing's the old adage that charity begins at home. We're very proud of the work Cecilia Gore has done at Brewers Community Foundation. We raise
Vogt into center, and this will be routine for Yelich, the second out. Go ahead, Mark.
We raise a couple $1 million every year through donations and frankly even through the 50-50 raffle.
Yeah.
Every night there's a lucky winner for. And we've been able to help on average 200 area charities in Wisconsin every year. So we feel very privileged to be able to help with that. One of the things I talk to the players about at the start of every year is giving back to the community and reaching out. And today was a good example, having 5 of our players come out to meet with some kids and families. That those families will remember that the rest of their life. And hopefully Eric Sogard and Travis Choi didn't miss too much of the players meeting that I have to go over the pitcher tonight.
Here's Keon Broxton, pitch in the dirt. So don't forget, it's tiashope.org, and we'd invite you to check that out. And if you're called to assist in any way, then Zoe would appreciate it. And again, Zoe, good for you. That's really what it's all about up here. And we do these games, and when we can shine a spotlight on somebody who's doing great things, we want to do that, and you're doing great things, so good job.
Especially, I'd say, a younger person. At least now for me, everybody's a younger person.
Let me ask you real quick, Mark, about Corey Hart being here. We're going to visit with him in a little bit. You've got your Wall of Honor sport coat on, and that means we have a new entry, and Corey Hart is that man.
This sport jacket reminds me of some of the types of jackets Bob Uecker wore and Harry Doyle in Major League. And I break it out when we have a Wall of Honor induction. It was so touching to see Corey and his family. I don't know if you saw the press conference.
I did. But it's great.
Got a little emotional, which was nice. So we've seen his kids grow up. His son's glasses have gotten much cooler now than he used to have when he was younger. And Corey was an important part of our team and an important part of the Brewers family.
Broxton bounces to short, and that will retire the side. Great job, Mark.
Great. Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you. And Zoe, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Tias Hope, we're on it. It's on our window right now, and go check it out, tshope.org. Doing great things.
Park, no score between the Brewers and the Marlins. We take a look at our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Some injury updates for you. The Cubs have made their way to Cincinnati. Chris Bryant is likely available to pinch hit tonight against the Reds. Remember, he injured his ankle Wednesday. They considered it a mild sprain when he stepped on third base. So he was on the field earlier this afternoon, took some batting practice, did some agility work. So you could see him again tonight against the Reds. And Mike Trout, great news for him as he recovers from a broken thumb. He had surgery just more than 4 weeks ago. He hit on the field today for the first time since that injury at the end of May. So they had initially expected him to be out 6 to 8 weeks. So good to see Trout on the field again.
Yeah, no question. One of the game's greatest players. First ball swinging. Edinson Volquez gives Garza a quick out here in the third inning. Bill Schroeder has made his way back to the booth. Sorry to kick you out, partner. We only have 3 microphones, and it was either between you or the owner.
Well, it's a short list of people that'll take my seat. Mark's at the top of it.
So we had to ask Rock to leave for a moment. What'd you do on your half inning off?
I was sitting out there in the back. You know what I realized? What a nice, tranquil game it is when you're watching and not doing it on television.
Oh, I see, with all the things circling through your ears. By the way, it reminds me to tell you tonight's game being produced by Brent Reeland, directed by Renardo Lowe. Speaking of people in my ears.
You know what? I finally realized back there why they called America's pastime is just such a lazy game, because you know, back there, without sitting up here with the headsets, it is. I never realized.
It's impressive, isn't it? This young lady, she's 27 years old, Zoe. She loses her mother. She starts this foundation, and it's connected all over the country now, and
it's good stuff.
It's doing great things for people who are suffering through horrible losses in their families. There's a bounce out by Gordon. It's inspiring.
And it's great that Mark and Debbie allow them a platform to get the word out. Good for them.
I mentioned Corey Hart is coming on with us. He'll be with us, I believe, in the bottom of the fourth. Mark touched on it a little bit. Corey threw out the first pitch. He joins Bill Schroeder in the Wall of Honor. Tremendous achievement that it is, and we're going to visit with Corey in the bottom of the fourth inning.
A tremendous player, Corey Hart. You know, part of that group of young players that came up and started to make the Brewers, you know, relevant, get into the postseason. J.J. Hardy and Ricky Weeks and Prince Fielder. Corey Hart in that group, and that was those are good times back in Milwaukee.
Stanton up there with 2 outs. You realize this is only Stanton's 3rd game since that infamous game when he was hit in the face here at Miller Park. Only his 3rd game here in this venue. Does have a homer and a couple of RBIs in his previous 2. Doesn't fit the mold of a 2-hitter, but the mold is changing quickly in Major League Baseball, and Giancarlo Stanton has to be one of the more physically intimidating 2-hole hitters ever. Long throw by Sogard, and it's in time, and Garza has got a nice run going early. He's only given up 2 hits, both singles, 3 scoreless innings. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Beautiful play out there by Hernan Perez has been the defensive highlight so far. And here we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. We are scoreless at Miller Park. Marlins Brewers, game 1 of this 3-game series. Matt Garza leads off for the Brewers. Volquez giving up a walk and a single thus far. 2 scoreless innings for Edinson Volquez. Nine 1-2 due up for Milwaukee. Garza does have a couple of hits this season. I don't mean to say that with surprise, but he does have 2 hits this year.
I think anytime you have a hitter that starts to get base hits, who historically in their careers haven't hit much, I think you're allowed to be surprised.
Supremely confident in his hitting ability right now. He's actually 2 for 19 this season and has an RBI. He's on the interstate, as they say, hitting 105 coming into play. Puts the ball in play. Riddle's got a long throw and makes the play. Wow, man, was that something. And now you see why the Miami Marlins were willing to trade Echeverria. That's a big time play by JT Riddle.
Yeah, it looked like he felt as though he had a little bit of time to set himself and make a throw. Off balance and able to get him. Actually, he didn't set himself. That's going to be bang bang, and I'm not sure that there's enough to overturn that one. That is a heck of a play. Very quick on the release. Close play at first, but the Marlins did the right guy getting down the line.
So no challenge for Craig Counsell. He waves it off, says play on, and 1 away. Top of the order, here is Sogard. Got the two former teammates and the two former Oakland Athletics in the lineup together tonight, Sogard and Vogt, and both think very highly of the other. Interesting to see him back in Milwaukee. Back together, I should say, in Milwaukee. Some playoff teams with the A's. These guys bring a lot of talent, experience, postseason experience. It's been a group that kind of lacked that prior to the addition of Sogard, who was with the Brewers in spring training as a non-roster invitee. And then, of course, Vogt just acquired on the waiver wire, claimed off waivers from the A's this past week.
And the Brewers excited to get him as Sogard takes strike 3 right on the outside corner. That's that pitch again. Alan Porter giving a little bit off the edge. That time Edinson Volquez is able to exploit it. Yep, fastball right on the outside corner. That actually was a good pitch on the corner.
So 2 out, and here is VR. Jonathan hit a line drive to center field for an out in the first inning. Fastball in there. Backed up a changeup with a 94-mile-an-hour heater on the inside corner, and VR was surprised.
10 miles an hour difference. 84 with a changeup, 94 with a fastball.
Volquez has such a good changeup. That's a breaking ball low. You can see it a little bit if you'll pay close attention and you have a large enough television at home. But if you stare in from that center field camera, you can see a little bit of the grips of Volquez. The hitter doesn't see that, but he'll spike the breaking ball. He digs that index finger in. You see all fingers around the ball. That gives you an idea it's a changeup, like this one looks like it's going to be. And a changeup strikes him out. VR is gone, and the inning is over. 1-2-3 with a couple of Ks for Volquez with the circle change. It's good so far tonight.
Big story in baseball tonight. There is a new Major League Baseball record for most home runs in a single month, now thanks to Justin Smoak, who went yard off of Red Sox Doug Fister in the bottom of the first. That is now 1,070 home runs in the month of June. Again, that is a new Major League Baseball record. The previous record was 1,068. That was done in May of 2000. So it continues to be the year of the home run here in baseball.
Is it ever? The ball's got to be a little bit different.
Yeah, I don't know. You have the baseballs. I grab them down on the field. They don't feel a whole lot different. And maybe the seams, but I think the seams sometimes are a little bit irregular. You don't have the same. There are baseballs that have higher seams, lower seams, but I think as a general rule, what I've noticed, they're a little bit lower.
So lower seams would mean less drag, would mean potentially more home runs, but it's been something to watch. It's fun. I don't know if it's right or wrong, or I mean, pitchers don't seem to be complaining about the seams.
No, and the smaller, the lower the seams, the tougher it is to get good spin.
Yeah.
Maybe breaking ball is not reacting as much, so who knows. I know the Brewers and Reds contributed to that.
Yes, they did.
Was it 17 in a 3-game series?
But look, the Dodgers just hit 50 home runs in the month of June with a day to play, so they've set a franchise record. The Brewers have hit 47 home runs this month. That ties Harvey's Wallbangers of 1982 for the most home runs in June. 49 is the record for the most home runs in a month in franchise history. Usually it's the months with the 31 days, right, instead of 30. But that was set in September of 07. We'll talk to Corey Hart about that September of 07. He was on that ball club. Corey's going to join us in the bottom of this inning. Garza facing Christian Yelich to start it here in the fourth. Has one of the 2 hits against Garza. Had a clean single in the first inning. Yelich has taken a little extra time. The Brewers just went with one of their mid-count swaps on the shift defensively, which always seems to unnerve a hitter. Routine fly ball to left. I'm not so sure that's why the Brewers don't do it in the first place. It is a little odd to be at the plate. You see a shift on, and then when you get to 2 strikes, the shortstop and the, let's call him the rover in right field, switch positions.
Well, they did it on a 3-1 count that time. I mean, I would imagine Yelich was a little tempted to drop one down the line, but I mean, if you're Craig Counsell, you're figuring you've got a good hitter. He's in a hitter's count. He's not going to bunt, and he didn't.
I'm always imagining a hitter going, what kind of stats do they have on me that they're doing this? Which is a terrible place for a hitter to be, by the way, in that kind of thought process.
The other thing it does to you, if you don't have 2 strikes on you, I mean, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, should I bunt here? I mean, especially to lead off an inning, why not? I mean, Yelich can run. He might be able to steal a base, too.
Ozuna takes a ball low.
So you do that, a lot goes through that hitter's mind.
And that's what got my attention, because Yelich, he steps out, they make the position switch, and then he's now, you can see him thinking about it, and he's taking a little extra time. The wheels are in motion.
What should I do here? Yeah.
Garza's ready to go on the mound, and so you can see how that would be advantage pitcher.
And you're thinking about that as opposed to what is he going to throw me here?
Did you ever employ any mental tricks behind the plate when you were catching? Like, you know how when you're playing really good golf and I'll say to you, well, your grip is really perfect right now, Brock.
I've never heard that from you.
Your right elbow is in a great place at impact.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of trickery going on back there. I mean, you hear stories back in the old days, you know, Yogi Berra throwing dirt on the guy's shoes. You don't do that.
2-1.
Or he might have.
Ozuna lays off.
There was a lot of things correct about Bull Durham, but a lot of things not correct in that movie.
But it was good humor.
Right, it was funny.
You never had a non-baseball conversation on the mound with a pitcher?
I have.
A swing and a miss. He threw him a 3-1 breaking ball, and now it's 3-2 on Ozuna.
But
now,
a full-blown conversation with a hitter in the middle of an at-bat, never.
When you had that non-baseball conversation with one of your pitchers on a visit to the mound, was it to try to get him thinking about something else, or did you actually have some unanswered questions? There's a shot, and it's by Shaw. And Ozuna with a base hit. 1-out single for Marcell Ozuna.
You know what it is? It's just trying to calm a guy down. Sometimes you get wrapped up. There's men on bases. The crowd's going crazy. The music in the stadium is starting to get into his head. You go out there and just start talking about something else. Take it easy. We're going to get out of this. Hey, by the way, did you see such and such?
Did you see On Golden Pond? What a great movie.
Point out a couple of fans, a couple of rows behind the dugout, something like that, you know.
Anything to switch over from one side of the brain to the other, maybe, right?
Yeah.
I asked that question because I feel like you do that to me a lot as we go through our travels on the road. Excellent subject changer that you are. For example, last night I brought up the point that you really don't invite me on any of your boating trips, and you quickly changed the subject
to the weather,
which I immediately went to my weather app because we're all suckers for the weather. And I just now remembered you did that last night. You bought yourself 24 hours without having to answer why no invite.
Just trying not to hurt your feelings, that's all. But you're forcing me.
There's a bouncer to Shaw, got a chance to turn, an awkward double play, and no problem. How about a 5-6-3 double play on the shift? And the inning is over, and Garza is through 4 without giving up a run. Corey Hart, Wall of Honor member. We're going to chat with him when we continue. Brewers Wall of Honor, and look who's next. Corey Hart. Those are two images that are going to be together for a lifetime.
It's a good looking dude, right?
I mean, you get to have residence with Bill Schroeder. Corey Hart is with us. Thanks for coming up, man. Great to see you again.
No, great to see you guys.
Your hair looks fantastic. Your beard is in
right. I was trying to look pretty for you guys.
You still look like a player, man. You still look like you could do it. I'm going to enjoy this conversation very much. First of all, excellent job on the first pitch.
Thanks. Yeah, I didn't get to warm up, so I was a little panicky. So I just wanted to make sure I got in there and just let it go. I heard you bounced it.
I went about short hop.
So I was like, all right, because Eddie was complaining a little bit. He's like, get it to me.
Now, did Eddie ask to catch your?
No, I asked for Eddie. Eddie's like the second dad to me. So
right.
So I wanted him out there for me.
Yeah, me too.
Jesus Aguilar leads off for the Brewers.
Second dad.
So Corey Hart becomes the 60th member of the Wall of Honor. And tell us a little bit about when you got the phone call, you're preparing this trip to come here, what it meant to you to be part of this great group of Brewer players throughout the years.
Right. No, it was huge. I mean, playing for a long time, and obviously most of my career was here, and my best years were here. And you know, this is more of a family atmosphere than anywhere I was ever at. And I just feel like it meant a lot to come back and be involved, and I was super excited to be a part of it.
And I know it's funny because you mentioned your family, but we've seen these images of you while you were playing 07, 08, and your kids are little, and now they're all grown up, and we've seen a lot of your kids in various elements here tonight. And one of your sons joined you on the field for the first pitch.
Yeah, it was crazy. They showed a photo of me in, I think, 08 when we clinched.
Yeah.
Like I was holding him. I was like, look.
Yeah.
Times change. It's a little teary. It was nice. But it was cool. My kids grew up here, and there's of all the places I've played, it's the only place they like. So it's cool that we have a bunch of little Brewer fans at home.
That's great. And you're part of fantasy camp now too, so you're still part of the Brewers family.
Still.
Thanks to Bill Schroeder.
Thanks to Bill. The Rock had me out, and we went undefeated. So I think actually we have a lot of our fantasy guys here today supporting. So
actually, I think we're going to make this new protocol. Anybody who comes to the booth has to hold this.
Right?
It's really heavy.
That's mine. You didn't bring his?
No, that's yours.
We should have mine so we can just talk to each other. Right?
No? Well, you guys are going to be on top of each other on the wall.
Let me ask you this. I mean, you came up and you were, one of the first guys to come up. It was a great time for the Brewers, J.J. Hardy and Ricky and Prince. And what did that all mean to you to be kind of in the forefront of being, Brewers baseball getting back to the postseason?
Well, it was huge. I mean, the best thing about that was we were all together. So we all got to the big leagues basically within a year of each other. And so it was easier for us because we leaned on each other and we had each other to kind of go through that experience together. And we were excelling differently, and when we struggled, we had each other pick each other up. So it was kind of a little mini fraternity inside of our group, and it made everything so much easier. And I talked to counsel earlier, like Doug and Gord, they did a really good job of bringing good veterans around us. You had Counsel, Kendall, Cameron, like those guys that we could lean on, and they could keep us on our place and make sure we didn't get ahead of ourselves a little bit. But it was such a good mixture, and it made playing a lot easier.
I think I know the answer to this question, but what was one of your greatest moments as a Brewer?
I'm sure I told you before. Probably the 08 making the playoffs, because the way it's set up, we went down to the wire. I think we beat the Cubs the last game of the season, and then we all stayed on the field, and you had 40,000+ people waiting for. So they had the Florida Marlins game up on the screen.
That's
so
right.
They're playing the Mets
Marlins. That's right.
So all the guys are out. Of course, we're already celebrating. Because worst case, we had a tiebreaker.
Right.
So you had all the fans, and the game was on screen. And I was holding my kid. And of course, it was actually on screen today, so it was nice to see. But it was just a fun experience because the team was celebrating a mini victory, hoping we get to the playoffs. And then the fans are all there supporting us. It was really cool to be there. We always heard about how good 82 was, and we got to get back to that playoff.
Right.
Just to finally get there was a cool experience.
That team is going to go down. That 08 team goes down as the one that broke the long streak of not making the playoffs. Remember, it had been 26 years between playoff appearances, 1982 to this 2018. That was a special time, special year. You're a big part of that team, and of all the individual accolades, including all-star games, as Travis Shaw draws the walk. I think it speaks to the player you were, and just the kind of man that you are too, that it's always the team thing that you remember. And you guys did something special that year in 08.
It was fun. I mean, when we made it back in 11, we were a little more experienced, and I think that season, the kind of feeling we had, then there was no nerves and we were ready to play. Then we were a little anxious and there was a little more anxiety there, but again, we were all together, so it made it a lot easier at that time, because you put these guys or our whole group out there for the first time, it's overwhelming. And for us to go through that and be able to, for most part, stay together and do it again 3 years later, it was obviously fun to get there, but to do it again with that same group was special.
Does it remind you a little bit of what's going on here in Milwaukee with a lot of these young kids coming up, what you guys went through to get to the playoffs back in 08?
It's huge, because not even in 08, you probably remember, but 07,
yeah, right,
how close we were. I mean, this is what this reminds me of, because they have so many young guys. It's not that because they're not all here. You have a lot of these big prospects that are still kind of waiting. So the team's doing great things right now, and I'm just waiting for things to just get better and better. It's pretty exciting because I watch every game. So if I'm not watching, my son's watching it, so it's always on TV. So I always know what's going on, and it's hard not to root and get my girls involved too. So it's actually kind of nice.
Visiting with Corey Hart, we got a little situation. It looks like in the stands, and Joe West, who is the crew chief and the first base umpire, has moved players away from this area and is trying to get security. That is my guess. Something's going on with a fan and interaction with the players on the field. So Joe West has sent the Marlins, at least the Marlins on that side of the field, away from that area. And the first base umpire is Joe West. That's Hunter Wendelstedt there, who is on his way to inform Don Mattingly of what's going on. But something is going on in that area that Joe West does not feel like this is a safe environment, more specifically for the Miami Marlins. So he's asked him to move that area. So that's why we have the delay. And I'm sure they will get it rectified shortly here. In the meantime, we have Corey Hart.
Do you have any interest in getting back on the field, coaching at all? Or?
Eventually, you know, I did the spring training stuff this year, and I still did a few things with the guys in extended. But you know, I coached my son's team, Arizona Avengers. You know, we're a pretty studly group, but that takes up a lot of my time. You know, and I still want to do that because he's 12, we'll be 13 next year. You know, and our team plays a lot, and now we have a few other teams, so I don't want to miss out on that stuff.
Is there anything better than that?
Oh, it's great. Like
watching the kids.
Well, I think it's crazy. We played 192 games, I think, the last 2 years.
Wow.
So I mean, it's a great experience, but I love being out there with the kids. I love being out there with my son for sure. But I don't want to take away from that yet. So once the kids are older, I might look for more full-time stuff. But I mean, it's fun. I love being around it, so I can see doing it as they get older.
You've been watching these guys pretty close. You mentioned you watch just about every game on television.
Every game. So if I'm home, it's on TV. If I'm not home, it's on my little phone trying to figure it out. But I mean, you know, I got to know a few of them in spring training, and then I did the stuff for the younger guys. So I'm always on trying to keep up with guys, and it keeps me busy.
Visiting with Corey Hart here in the booth. We've had this delay, and we have video of what exactly happened, and now it makes perfect sense, guys. Check this out. This would be great to get your perspective, Corey, as well. But watch Joe West. Now watch the ball come from the top of the screen here, hit him right in the head.
Oh my.
So somebody's thrown a baseball down on the field and hits Joe West, and then obviously very fortunate that wasn't something more serious. And I guess now the idea is try to figure out where this is coming from. And there's the lead security here at Miller Park, now trying to find out where this came from. And for me, Rock, this looks like it comes from
the upper deck, because
it
was coming from such a downward plane that it didn't look like it was coming from the first a lower level.
I tell you. Corey, you ever remember any incidents on the field? I mean, scary things like that. And I remember in San Francisco, I feel like Niger Morgan, they were throwing something at him one game. Can't remember exactly the details. Did you have anything like that?
Yeah, no, I mean, outside of playing in Chicago and get some beer thrown at me, never really had anything. But I remember the Niger thing. I mean, I think it was batteries.
Yeah.
He was getting batteries thrown at him, but I mean, I've seen some hot dogs tossed around out there, but never a baseball at a.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah,
it's just unacceptable.
Dangerous,
hit
right?
Solid. I mean, man.
We took it like a champ, but still, there's no room for that.
The good thing he's got a smile on his face. I mean, that's the best part of the story, but that's just unacceptable behavior. And hopefully, fans around the fan who threw this baseball are going to make sure that that person is ejected.
I guess what they're trying to do is figure out a way to identify who threw the baseball, but that's going to be
hard, right?
Difficult task. I mean, a lot of people.
I don't blame Joe West for not wanting to resume play here until he knows who the perpetrator was. So we got a bit of a delay here. Scary situation on the field. Rock, you ever remember anything like this?
No,
ever had anything thrown at you?
No, I remember doing a game at County Stadium where a fan, ran out on the field in right field and jumped on the back of Bill Spires at the time. He was playing for the Astros, but never really a situation like this. A fan throwing a baseball into the field and actually hitting somebody like that. I mean, fans throw stuff on the field, but really never ever hit anybody. And that one flushed right on the top of the head.
That's not good. That is brutal. Whoever did that should be an apology, and you're not welcome here. Really.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
You're
Stay
taking
home.
That could have been very serious. So Joe West looks like he's all right. He's waving the Marlins back on the field. And we'll continue our chat with Corey Hart. Sorry, Corey, got a little action on the field here.
I feel you. I'm just glad we didn't hit him in the face somewhere.
Right, no kidding.
Top of the head's at least hard.
Yep.
That's dangerous.
This is a guy's umpired over 5,000 games in the major leagues. Joe West. Sure, he's never had anything like that happen before. Matter of fact, we've got two guys in the ballpark tonight, Joe West and Bruce Fleming. They're here together tonight.
Yeah.
Bruce is up in the press box. 10,000 career games umpired, and they're in the same venue.
I would imagine Bruce has some stories.
Well, we're glad he's all right. Joe, and no umpire, no player, no body should ever be subjected to anything like that. And Volquez will get a few warm-up tosses here. So let's reset it. 1 out. The Brewers have a runner at first base, Travis Shaw, who walked. And Domingo Santana is coming up. And we're visiting with Corey Hart, who was just inducted into the Brewers Wall of Honor. When I watch Santana play, I think about you a lot. He has your same kind of mannerisms. He's fast, but he doesn't look like he's running hard. He throws the ball well, but he doesn't look like he's actually throwing the ball hard. And it feels like the second coming of Corey Hart in right field. He's got a lot of power too, just like you, to the opposite field.
And very calm demeanor. You've always had that.
Yeah, I remember minor leagues. I actually got called in the office. They wanted me to be more fiery. Like, do you really like this game? I was like, oh, yeah, I love it. But same thing. I was trying to be as calm as I could because it's such a roller coaster game. So,
you know what? That's a great point. That's a great teaching lesson too. Jump on that real quick, because everybody has their own personality, the way they can perform at their best. And I remember some of those comments about you, that, well, he's a low energy, low key guy, but that wasn't really the case.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm fiery inside at least, but no, yeah, they wanted me to be more. But it was a lot to get. They were just trying to get to know me, I guess, as a player, and you know, I just try to keep to myself and perform as well as I can, because I mean, I was going to be good and I was going to be bad, so I was trying to mellow out as long as I could.
I know there are a lot of coaches out there now. You're coaching in the youth ranks too, and
yeah,
some of it's a little bit worrisome that you're trying to make players into a cookie cutter mold and everybody's got to play the same way. It just doesn't work that way.
No, I mean, I obviously I lived through it, but I mean, I'm young. They're young kids, so they're 12. So but I just try to pinpoint the fundamental part of it and realize that every kid's different. Like, you know, because I was fortunate, like Del Swaim and Jim Scaling was here when I was my hitting guys. Those are my two favorite hitting guys, and they're really good at not making it. Don't look at who, like, it's like we're playing Minnesota when I was there. Joe Mauer was always the best player. Don't look at Joe and try to mimic that. Just do what you do and just try to hone that in and be the best version of that. And those guys are good at that. They didn't try to make us somebody else. And that's why I just do the same thing with kids. I mean, they're a little harder because there's a lot more flaws and you're trying to make them understand a few things, but at the same time, you don't want them to all be the same kind of player.
And you don't want to pressure them too much. You don't want to take the athleticism out of their game.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it, especially the way the youth is coming around in baseball. It's so young. You want these guys to be athletic, and I think that's why Milwaukee's been successful. You have guys like Perez out there that can run around and do a lot of things.
Santana takes one low, visiting with Corey Hart, newest member of the Brewers Wall of Honor. We've had a lot of conversations with Corey over the years about coaching, about youth baseball. Fascinating. I mean, we should actually do a long form interview at some point, and because I know you're heavily involved in coaching youth baseball now in Arizona, your hometown, and there's a lot to see. There's a right way to do it. There's a wrong way to do it. Most importantly, keep the kids in first place in this scenario always.
Oh, it's crazy.
Because so many kids are burning out, it feels like.
Well, I mean, half these coaches, they take it the wrong way. It's like,
Santana's rung up. And a called strike 3 for the second out. Go ahead, Corey.
No, I'm saying you want these kids these coaches forget that the kids are still kids. And this is a hard game, so they're going to have failure. They're going to have a lot of bad times, and these coaches go crazy out there. And I end up getting more frustrated with the opposing coaches than I do anything else, because I'm trying to tell these guys to relax half the time because they're kids. You know, they're still playing a hard game for these guys. I mean, it's a high level for them. You know, they don't know any different. So, I mean, they're playing out there and they're trying their best, and you have these coaches that kind of go overboard. So I catch myself telling these guys to relax half the time because I'm like, dude, they're kids.
Right.
They're not trying to do that.
Right. Are you a proponent of kids at 12 years old working a count, taking pitches?
No, I wish. I didn't really do that either. So I just, you just wanted to have fun and play hard. Like we were just in a national tournament, and I told these kids, whether we finish first or last, have a good experience. Be competitive, but worst case, just go out there and have fun. We finished second, by the way, not to brag.
Yeah, right.
But but it was one of those things that just go out there and have fun, take advantage of the situation.
Well, those kids are lucky they get to play for you, my man. That's a gift for them for sure.
It makes retirement fun.
This is risky with 2 outs, but I'm thinking about you as a teenager in Kentucky, right? And you're a tall guy, tall, lanky. You love basketball.
Yeah.
You're good at basketball.
Yeah.
Why baseball for you?
It was more my dad, actually. My dad always, my dad played pro softball, so I was always at the field. I think he kind of looked at the longevity of it. Like I was 6'6", so I was kind of right in the middle range, height-wise, for elite basketball later on.
Runner on the way, and out is the call.
But he saw baseball as a longer, more of like a longer career for me.
Well, Corey, it's always great to see you, man. Great job with the press conference.
Thank you.
You can check that on the Brewers social. Emotional press conference, and we're glad to see you again, man. You deserve that wall of honor.
I appreciate it, guys.
There you are with his family. He's got his boy there. Looks like a strike to me. Corey Hart, member of the Brewers Wall of Honor.
On Friday, July 14th, as the Brewers kick off the 1982 anniversary weekend with a Paul Molitor replica jersey given to the first 20,000 fans for the Brewers game against the Phillies, courtesy of Experience Fitness. Reserve your spot today at brewers.com. The Igniter.
I really like these jerseys. I'm going to make a rock appear. These are great for a giveaway jersey. These are awesome.
Yeah, and you know what? I got
a
a sneak peek at that ring, that replica ring.
82 replica
that's
ring.
That's a nice ring they're giving away.
Just think of all the stories you could make up around that ring. Big weekend here and a big week. Great homestand coming up. 6 games, the Marlins and the Orioles. Then the Brewers go on the road. That 1-game makeup in Chicago at Wrigley Field Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Yankee Stadium in New York. And then the All-Star break. Brewers in first place by 1 single game in the National League Central. Garza's pitching well thus far. JT Realmuto takes a strike. Great to visit with Corey Hart.
Yeah, great guy.
He is a great guy.
Well,
He's one of those guys you could just spend hours with talking baseball.
He was a Brewer through and through, and he was one of the first guys to come up in that group of guys that got the Brewers to the playoffs. I remember his first home run in this ballpark. over the club goodwill sign. I don't think the sign was up there at that point. Called up, hit a big fly.
Well, that group of guys, as time moves on here, we're going to look at that group of players. Prince Fielder, J.J. Hardy, Corey Hart, Ricky Weeks. A couple of years later, Ryan Braun. What a special group of players, position players. There's a ground ball. Aguilar's got to hustle to the bag. Look at this throw, and it is late. Heck of a play by VR. But Real Muto, the Marlins catcher, is one of the fastest players on the team. He's certainly the fastest catcher in the majors, and he beats that one out.
Yeah, just serves that good pitch by Garza. Looked like a slider off the plate. And just too far up the middle to get Real Muto. He's able to beat it out. Yeah, nice play though. Spins around and makes a good throw to first.
Yeah, good call over there. So a leadoff single. That's the 4th hit for the Marlins. They have all been singles. Second time they've had a lead runner on. But getting down to the bottom of the batting order. Here's Derek Dietrich now batting 7th. Runner goes. Vogt's throw on a hop. The tag. Not in time. Stolen base. First of the night for the Marlins.
Well, a short hop out to second base. I think a good throw is going to get Real Muto at second. Didn't have that great a jump. Short hop and easily in at second base.
4th stolen base for Real Muto. And the Marlins have a runner in scoring position. That was the one concern with the Garza Vogt combo tonight, was the running game. So far so good until this inning. Marlins have not even attempted a steal until now. Pitch was called a strike. Garza wide-eyed trying to get through this 5th inning. Keep the 0 on the board. Nobody out. Runner at second. Dietrich is late. Fouls it back. It's 0-2.
And left a curveball up out over the plate. Dietrich upset with himself for missing that pitch. A hanging curveball.
To the count. Be a spot where Garza could use a strikeout. He struck out Dietrich looking his last time up. He got him with an outside corner fastball. Vogt setting up inside this time, and that one's fouled away. Don't forget, tomorrow this Marlins Brewers series will switch over to FS1. Rock and I will be back with you on Sunday on Fox Sports Wisconsin. We're going to visit with Mark Sweeney here in a moment. Check in with tomorrow's analysts. Make your plans to catch the Brewers on FS1 tomorrow, nationally televised game. Ooh, just missed. Now that was close to the pitch that Garza was able to get a called strike 3 with Dietrich at the plate last time.
Yeah, that one was just a little bit too far off the corner. Yeah, Vogt was sitting up out there, which is why it looked so good. He barely had to move his glove, but it was a ball. Yeah, back-to-back weeks for the Brewers on FS1.
Starting to take note. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
One and 2 the count. Vogt sets up inside, and it's in the dirt. Nice block back there by Vogt. Vogt does everything well except throw the ball. I mean, he handles pitching staff well. He blocks pitches. He's pretty quick behind the plate too. Does it all. It just, his throwing is what set him back a little bit.
It's like having another coach on the field with Vogt back there. Able to navigate his pitchers through games, and he's learning these pitchers as he catches in games. He didn't have spring training with him, obviously.
2-2 the count. Garza deals low and away. Full count now. Derek Dietrich. Marlins have back-to-back lefties at the bottom of their order with Dietrich and Riddle. Brewers are carrying 2 left-handed pitchers in their bullpen, Hader and Suter. Keep that in mind if this game gets tight late. On the ground, hit pretty hard, but VR is there. Good strong throw to get Dietrich for out number 1. On the play, though, Real Muto advances to third.
Yeah, everybody did the job there. Good job by Dietrich with 2 strikes to be able to get that ground ball to the right side. You make an out, you advance a base runner. A nice backhand play by Jonathan VR.
That'll bring up the shortstop JT Riddle.
Showing his range going up the middle. We saw him almost get the out on Real Muto in a play in the hole.
Well, the infield is in for the Brewers now. Best scoring chance of the game. First time the Marlins have had a runner in scoring position. Runner at third, 1 out, and the young shortstop a swing and a miss. Riddle had a good cut, but he fouls it back, and now it's 0-2. Riddle playing in just his 55th game of the season, first year in the big leagues. A Kentucky native like Corey Hart. Played his college ball at Kentucky, University of Kentucky. Made his debut second week of the season. He's up in a big spot. Runner at third, 1 out. Here's an 0-2 pitch, and he didn't bite.
And tried to get him to chase 3 consecutive pitches up in his zone. Didn't do it. Well, does he have enough confidence in that curveball to bounce it in the dirt?
A 25-year-old shortstop. 1-2, and he lines one to left. That is a fair ball. Takes a bounce off the sidewall. That'll be extra bases for Riddle. It's an RBI double, and the rookie has put the Marlins on the board first here tonight. 1-0 Miami.
Yep, all fastballs in that at bat. Yeah, this time Riddle got one that he can handle a little bit out away from him, and just slices it down that third baseline. Just tucks it inside the left field line by about a foot. That's not where you wanted to leave that pitch. You wanted it up again, up and in.
Yeah, you could see it in Garza's reaction right away. He's gonna be upset about that location. Not where he wanted it. So it is an RBI for the rookie, and now the pitcher Volquez is up. Runner at second, 1 out.
Another baseball in the field.
We're in a bit of a troubling window here with some isolated fans and their decisions. Had a couple of fans run on the field. Baseball's being thrown on the field.
It just makes everybody look bad when isolated people do stuff like that.
No balls and a strike on Volquez. On the ground, and that's through for a base hit. Throw to third is late, gets away from Shaw. And so the Marlins pitcher delivers with a hit, just his 5th hit of the season. And suddenly you go from facing the bottom of the order and maybe a way out of this inning. Now Garza's in big trouble here. 1st and 3rd, back to the top of the order.
Well, the Brewers didn't expect Volquez to pull this baseball. Garza gave him one, a sinker that was out over the plate. You can see where Sogard's playing. Shaw not able to get there, and finally, after a long delay, Riddle gets to third base. Volquez got a pitch to pull, and he found the hole.
Well, Garza has got his work cut out for him now. You got Gordon here, Stanton to follow.
And Gordon, a tough guy to double up.
One of the fastest players in the big leagues. He'd have to hit a bullet right at an infielder.
He has grounded into 5 double plays.
Dangerous bat looming next. Gordon's 0 for 2, 2 ground outs. And he shows bunt, gets a bunt down. Garza's coming home, and he throws it away. Another run is in. Volquez on his way to third. Gordon on his way to second. 2-0 Marlins.
Well, really, the only play for Garza was what he did. A good flip. It might be interesting at home plate. Gordon drops it down, and this is the only chance Garza had to get an out. A good throw. He's going to get the out at home plate. Check it out. I think he hits the ground as he throws the baseball. The ball hit the ground and kind of went to the backstop.
That'll be a sacrifice bunt. Give Gordon an RBI, and then an E1 to advance the runners to second and third. And now Stanton taking strike 1. Marlins have taken the lead here. Garza having trouble with the bottom of the batting order, and it has bit him.
It doesn't seem like he has too much confidence in that curveball. It was a curveball that Gordon bunted. It was a strike, but he hasn't had real good command of his off speed tonight.
Brewers have 3 infielders on the left side, expecting Stanton to pull. They're halfway in. And that skips away from Vogt. Runners will stay put. That's a pitcher over there at third base. Garza's having trouble in each of his starts with 1 inning. He's had a collapse inning in his last few starts. He's trying to not make this a complete collapse, but 2 runs are already in on 3 hits. Two balls and a strike now. The dangerous Giancarlo Stanton at the plate. Ground ball, third base. Volquez stays put. Long throw is in time. Good throw by Shaw. And the second out of the inning. Garza needed that one.
Boy, you feel fortunate to get an out. Yeah, Stanton had to count in his favor, and he jammed himself. Fastball running in on his hands. It was off the plate, and Stanton an easy out on the ground ball to third. Thank you very much. That was on a 2-1 pitch.
Big out. It'll be Yelich now. Again, tried the curveball to start the count. Yelich singled off Garza in the first inning. Opposite field base hit. Flew out to left his last time up. Two and 0. This Marlins lineup, once it turns over, it comes at you in waves. This is not an easy lineup to get through. They are playoff ready as an offense right now. They've got a lot to offer. Speed, power. The big three in their lineup, Stanton, Ozuna, and Bohr.
Comes down to pitching, right? I mean, that's the case with every team. We just saw Cincinnati. They had a good offense.
Garza falls behind 3-0.
Well, if you're trying to pitch around Christian Yelich, the guy on deck is having a very nice season. Well, he might be swinging here, so be careful.
Three balls, no strikes. Will he have the green light? He takes ball 4. And now Garza will have to deal with Ozuna, who's been the best hitter the Marlins had this year.
And they were pitching around Yelich right there. They threw him a 2-0 changeup that missed down in the zone, and that pitch not even close.
Counsell frustrated on the phone, getting the bullpen active. This is the game right here. It's 2-0 Marlins. We're in the 5th. Ozuna has the kind of pop to turn this one into a 6-0 game quickly. He singled sharply off Garza in the 4th. He's at 20 homers this season. Driven in 54. He's the Marlins RBI leader. And Garza's got to deal with it with the bases loaded.
That one right down the middle. This is a very aggressive hitting ball club. They don't take too much, especially pitches down the middle, and Ozuna knows he missed a very good pitch to hit.
That's Carlos Torres in the bullpen. No balls and a strike. 8th batter of the inning. Big curveball misses. See the numbers for Ozuna with the bases loaded. How about 5 for 7 this year with a grand slam? How's that, Rock?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Hopefully there is a correction involved here at some point.
And the issue that you have if you're Matt Garza and you're Stephen Vogt, I mean, Garza really has had a difficult time getting his breaking stuff over this inning. You know, Ozuna, he's sitting fastball here. Garza's got to come up with a breaking pitch for a strike.
1-1. Dangerous pitch to a dangerous hitter. Breaking ball. He fouls it away. Good call, partner.
Slider.
Well, he needed that one.
Yes, he did. Well, he's got the count in his favor. He can be creative. As soon as talking to himself, you always like that when you're pitching.
That's Volquez, the pitcher, at 3rd. He had a base hit. D. Gordon bunted in a run. He's at 2nd. Very fast runner there. And Yelich, a very fast runner, at 1st. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Garza to Ozuna. Missed down and in. Reached back for a little extra with that fastball. That came in at 94.
Yep, 2-seamer too.
Most RBIs against right-handed pitchers this year. Ozuna is 4th on the list. Goldschmidt, Lamb, Harper. Lamb and Harper are lefties. Goldschmidt and Ozuna right-handers. Is there another ball on the field? Man, come on, folks. I mean, it's just scary.
Yeah.
These guys are standing out there exposed, and these idiots are throwing balls on the field. Don't be an idiot.
No.
Two the count. Got him. Big pitch. Matt Garza walking the tightrope there. Strikes out Marcell Ozuna to end the inning. Could have been a whole lot worse. Marlins get 2. Garza strands the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and we remind you to kick off your 4th of July weekend with the Marlins and the Brewers tomorrow at 2:30 Central only on FS1. And then the Yankees take on the Astros at 6 p.m. on Big Fox, as we call it. You can watch them both on FS Go. They stream them live. And it says here on this card that Mark Sweeney will be joining us for the bottom of the 5th inning.
I love how you read. I love how you read cards.
Mark Sweeney from
Good to see you guys.
Great to have you.
Former Brewer. Rock. Yes, former Brewer. When Davey Lopes days.
Mark's one of our good buddies. Does work for the Padres as well as the National Fox, and we're always delighted to have you with us. You're going to be working with Aaron Goldsmith tomorrow, so that's your problem.
Yeah, he's tremendous.
He is. He's one of my favorite guys, actually. You're in good hands tomorrow for the Brewers and the Marlins. So let's get your big picture national perspective. Rock, if you want to leave, you can. We'll handle it from here.
I can handle this one.
I heard you took off in the 2nd, right?
Yeah, there's not enough headsets. And when the owner wants to come in,
it's a veteran move.
He can have as many seats as he wants up here.
Exactly right.
You know.
So let's get the big picture perspective on the Brewers. What are you guys thinking about Milwaukee around the non-Milwaukee area?
They're easy to talk about. Obviously, Craig Counsell has done a tremendous job. I've seen this team both here in Milwaukee, but also when they came through San Diego, and have a swagger about them that, in a liveliness that you absolutely love. They're taking on the home runs. I saw Sogard put on a show in San Diego.
Yeah,
he couldn't get him out. So it's been a really good mix. I think nationally they're getting the credit. A lot of the question is, can they sustain this?
Yeah.
Well, they have sustained it, and they're doing it with a lot of youth, and the home run ball is really come into play. Obviously, you deal with strikeouts when it comes to that, but the home run ball is come into play, as you saw yesterday.
They're learning how to, win at the major league level. They're young. I mean, you're talking 22, 23 years old.
Deke Gordon flags that one down, makes a terrific play to get Perez.
It's kind of the way baseball has become, right, Mark? I mean, a lot of young players and learning on the job in the major leagues.
Yeah, and I think you have to deal with some of the drop-offs, which is the strikeout. I think a lot of people are not necessarily worried about it. I am. I'm the old school approach of too many strikeouts. Sometimes there's a right and a wrong time for strikeouts, in my opinion. But listen, when you're doing this damage, you've seen the home run celebrations in the dugout. I love that part of it because it snowballs. And this is a dangerous team. I think a lot of people respect how they play the game.
You guys are very similar, and we've had a lot of conversations with Mark over the years. And I sit here with Rock every night. But as an analyst, and you're sitting here and you played a game a specific way in your window of time, both you guys did. Does it frustrate you when you watch the way the game is played now? Is it just different and you're okay with it? How do you organize that in your mind on all of the strikeouts and all of the home runs?
I think it's cyclical. I think there's a lot of things that you do in the game now that is going to come back. And why I say this is that I think more people are going to start getting some guys like a Sogard that has bat to ball skills, doesn't strike out a lot, being able to put the ball in play and complement the guys that are hitting the ball out of the ballpark. The problem that I have is the second basemen that have 8, 9 home runs, and you get 2 strikes and they're coming out of their shoes, they're falling over to take swings, because if that happened before, I wasn't going to get playing time individually. So I always looked at it as it was a.
There's Stephen Vogt. Sends one into deep right center. This is way back, and there she goes! Stephen Vogt with his first home run as a Brewer. And the Brew crew on the board. Well, what a way to make a Miller Park debut here today for Vogt.
And he's been swinging about well. He swung about well on the last road trip. Brewers were in Cincinnati, could have had 4 or 5 hits. That's why they picked him up. Another left-handed bat in that lineup. The Brewers, Mark, have always been right-hand dominant.
Yes.
One of the things that Craig Counsell, David Stearns concentrated on in the offseason, and even this year, is trying to get more balance.
Yeah, and I think the balance comes too on and off the field. Why I say that is he has a great feel for the game, but also that left-handed bat, as you're talking about, Rock, this is going to help balance things out, and he's going to add to that atmosphere that you just saw in the dugout.
How important are good clubhouse guys these days?
I love it, and these days especially I think are more important, because there's less guys stepping up and having those conversations that we relied on. And I relied on veteran guys that were talking, but Stephen Vogt's one of those sneaky guys, new lease on life, but he's still going to add his piece to this Brewers staff, and I think that's going to be the dominating factor moving forward. This is just let's keep on going. You always worry about having a catcher middle of the season and how he handles the staff. I think it's going to be seamless for Stephen Vogt.
Yeah, I think it's a little overblown when you have a guy like Vogt. I mean, he's been around. I mean, he's always been considered a good game caller and handling of pitchers, and I think that he's going to learn this staff pretty quickly.
Visiting with Mark Sweeney, who is on the air tomorrow with our good buddy Aaron Goldsmith. Aaron does the Mariners every day, and he breaks off and does the national games on the weekend. Terrific young announcer, great friend of ours. And Aaron and Mark will have the game tomorrow. Broxton bounces to short. I'll tell you, Mark, this shortstop here, JT Riddle, he's putting on a show this year. You could see why they made room for him. He's a player. With
the trade of Echeverria, I think it raised a lot of people's eyebrows, and you're wondering, well, do they have enough to back that? Well, JT Riddle has proven that he can handle that position. I've been around Don Mattingly with the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, and when he buys into a player, he really buys into him. And I know JT Riddle is one of those guys that adapts the way that you're supposed to play the game. That's the reason why they're probably giving him the reins.
Where are you going to sit tomorrow? I just want to know, because I need to do a little housekeeping.
Are you left side of the booth guy?
Wherever Aaron is,
right.
I'm on the other side. That's how I do it.
You defer to your play-by-play announcer?
I haven't done this enough to know where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah,
so
you'll get over that quickly.
By the way, there's a few things back there we'd like you not to touch tomorrow.
Yeah, what are those things?
There's a list. And
if it's not locked, you can have it.
We'll be doing an inventory after the game tonight as well, and tomorrow. So just make sure you keep your hands off.
If I have a bottle of water, and then maybe
that's all you need.
That's all I really need. Moving forward.
Anything else you got planned for the big national show? By the way, tomorrow's game is being produced by Brent Reeland, directed by Renardo Lowe.
Gotta love that.
So you get the Brewers' fine truck producer director working with the big shot broadcasters tomorrow as Garza bounces out. Mark, always great to see you, man. You're a blast.
Thanks, guys.
Can't wait to watch you tomorrow. We'll be out there on the grill or on a boat somewhere.
I love it. Enjoy your day, and thanks for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah. Always great to see Mark Sweeney. He'll be with Aaron Goldsmith tomorrow. Maybe more moments like this for them to call. Stephen Vogt, he even figured out the gauntlet. Birdie takes a quick trip down the slide. It's 2-1 Marlins.
Vote in front of the Brewers fans. They now trail 2-1 as we head to the 6th. And Brewers Community Foundation, along with the Leadership Council, will host the Drive for Charity this weekend, June 30th through July 2nd. Fans are asked to bring in jars of peanut butter that will be donated to the Salvation Army. A donation of peanut butter and or a $5 contribution will get a lucky fan one of the commemorative player plans featuring Hernan Perez. So thank you for your donations here over the holiday weekend.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Nighttime, sun is set here in Milwaukee, and we are headed to the 6th inning. Garza's out. Despite hitting in the last inning, Garza 5 innings, 2 earned runs, and it'll be Carlos Torres now, Rock, for the 6th.
Yeah, 40th appearance for Carlos, 4.5 earned run average for Torres, and that Garza able to get through 5 innings, allowing only 2 runs. Could have been a lot worse. He was only down by 1.
That was a huge at-bat. Garza against Marcelo Zuna. He struck him out with the bases loaded.
Came up with his 2 best sliders to get him.
So it'll be Justin Bour to lead off for the Fish, and on the first pitch he sends one high in the air to center, playable for Broxton, and there is out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out for Torres. These free swinging Fish of Miami.
They'll keep your pitch count down for you, but you better make good pitches early in the count.
They can do some damage. That's going to bring up JT Realmuto now. He reached on an infield hit last inning to start the inning. Stole a base, scored a run. The catcher that used his legs to produce the first run. Shows bunt, takes a ball low. Always great to visit with Mark Sweeney. He's a good buddy of ours. We like chatting with him. He still looks like he could play. He's kind of ripped, isn't he? I mean, he looks like he's in great shape. I feel like there's a pinch hitting role for him somewhere.
And he was a good pinch hitter back in his day. I mean, he was with the Brewers back in the old County Stadium days, 1999 and 2000. And Brewers picked him up. He had some shoulder issues. He wasn't able to play a whole lot, but he did pinch hit.
Bouncing ball to short. Sogard is there tonight for Arcia. Makes a play for out number 2.
But knows the game. Knows the game well.
Sweeney had a nice long career, 14 years. having a chat with Davey Nelson. That's a good guy to sit next to. Mark Sweeney and Aaron Goldsmith will have the call on FS1 tomorrow. Aaron's one of my favorite guys in the business as well. A young announcer that has seen a lot, especially in basketball season. You see him on the Big East basketball. You'll be in good hands tomorrow. Broken bat, shift was on. This is going to be a tough play and no chance to get Dietrich. That's one of those spots where the shift hurt the Brewers. Shattered the bat of Dietrich. That'll be an infield hit with 2 outs.
Well, good pitch. At cut fastball from Torres got in on him, but you can see the shift. The bat shatters and no chance for Sogard. That's just too tough a throw, not able to get him.
JT Riddle now. He had a key hit last inning. Had an RBI double with 2 strikes to put the Marlins on the board. Other RBI belongs to Gordon, who had a bunt. Sacrifice bunt officially scored. Essentially a safety squeeze. Low scoring game, 2-1 here in the 6th inning. We hit the air talking about the power of these two teams. Brewers hit 6 home runs yesterday. There's a bouncing ball right to Aguilar. Nice inning for Carlos Torres. Score to 6. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and the top of the order is coming up. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. 2-1 as Stephen Vogt put the Brewers on the board with a home run last inning. Marlins have the lead. Don't forget, you can't catch the games on television. You can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. That includes tomorrow's game on FS1. We're back with you on Fox Sports Wisconsin Sunday. And then the Orioles come in Monday. And we'll have all 3 games in that series on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Top of the order coming up. Eric Sogard leads off, then VR, then Aguilar. Brewers have a pretty hefty bench here tonight. A bench that includes Ryan Braun and Eric Thames, and maybe one of the hotter hitters around, and Manny Pena. So they've got some weapons to call on later if you need an at-bat here or there. Right now it's a one-run game. Sogard is 0 for 1. He walked his first time up. Hits that one sharply into center field, a base hit. Start calling him 2 times. 2 times Sogard. He gets on 2 times a game at least.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, walk in the first inning and a bullet line drive into center field. He just stays on the baseball so well. A professional hitter, they call guys like Sogard. Just they know what their job is, and they're giving it bat. And his job right there, get on base, leading off the inning.
Here comes Jonathan Villar now. Villar just coming back from a back injury, back spasms. Put him on the disabled list for a couple of weeks. Went down and played 4 games in 3 days in a minor league setting, or Appleton, and got a start last night in Cincinnati, and he made the most of it. Not 1 but 2 home runs for Jonathan Villar, number 7 and number 8 on the Powerball home run leaderboard.
Yep, 2 of the 6 home runs hit by the Brewers last night.
Villar takes a strike. Volquez, the author of a no-hitter earlier this month. Only no-no in the big leagues this year so far. He's only given up 3 hits tonight. One of those a home run by Vogt. Villar drops a butt down. Realmuto goes to second for the out there. And Sogard is out. If it had another roll on it, it would have been a good play. It might have had a chance to even be a base hit, but Realmuto is extremely quick out of the box.
Yeah, and he get out there quickly, and that ball had a little tail on it. Look at it sunk out as it got out to second base. And nice play by Riddle to act as a first baseman to get the lead out. To get that ball in the grass, I think you're going to be able to get Sogard into second base.
Yeah, he's saying I threw a sinker down there, didn't I? Realmuto was a shortstop in high school, and then drafted with the idea that he would convert to a catcher, which he did gladly, and here he is in the big leagues. He's a bright young star behind the plate. Jesus Aguilar with 1 out, runner at first. Aguilar with big power. He has been Craig Counsell's best pinch hitter this year. Has 11 hits as a pinch hitter this season, but he's in the starting lineup back-to-back games. He launched 1 out last night. Turned out to be a big home run as well. Aguilar drove in 4 runs last night.
And 3-run homer into center field in Cincinnati.
That was in the 4th inning. That was part of a 4-run fourth that put the game away. Villar, the stolen base champ last year. Might be a spot to run. It's always interesting. You get into the summer months at Miller Park when the ball starts to fly, and how much do you run in spots like this? You got Aguilar, the 3-hole hitter, Shaw, the cleanup hitter, due next.
You better make sure you make it.
Into center field. That ball is whistled out there. Yelich will run it down. Man, Aguilar hit that like a bullet.
These guys played deep. He didn't have to go that far. He gets a good jump anyway. Took a good route. Plays deep. Makes the catch easily out there into center field.
Had some heat off the bat.
Yep, fastball, inner half. got it down a little bit on the trademark. You see how deep he plays. Yelich and makes that catch just in front of the warning track.
So Travis Shaw steps in now with 2 away. Shaw walked his last time up. He's already established a career best in homers this season. 17. He homered in 3 straight games on the road trip. Last game in Atlanta, first 2 games in Cincinnati. Shaw had a hit yesterday. Walked twice in yesterday's game. He was 1 for 3. Long ball here would put the Brewers on top. Last 10 days, Shaw high on the list. How about Curtis Granderson? He's found it again. The fountain of youth still flowing in Grandersonville.
Yeah, they stuck with him in New York, kept playing him, and now he's starting to drive in some runs.
Every year we want to give up on Curtis Granderson.
Do we?
When I say we, I mean me. Just assuming you'd be with me.
You mean baseball?
No,
assuming
baseball.
that he's done, right? I get you.
He because he struggles so much, and the struggles were extended this year. But he's hot right now, as you can see. Two and one to count. 2-2.
Man, breaking pitch right there. That curveball, slider, whatever you want to call it. Took a little bit off. It was down and in. That's exactly where Shaw likes it, but it was the speed that got him out in front.
Marlins coming off a series against the Mets. They lost the last 2 games after winning the opener. Lost last night 6-3. 2-2 to Travis Shaw. Runner at first. There he goes. VR in the dirt. Gets by Realmuto. And VR into second base with a steal. And now the tying run is in scoring position.
Not a bad time to run with 2 strikes. Why not?
It's number 15 for Jonathan VR. 62 bags last year.
Big lead. Good jump. Doesn't look in. Has no idea where the baseball is. And that ball back to the screen. No chance for Realmuto. Base hit should tie it.
Yeah, if it hits the outfield grass, VR is going to be off with the crack of the bat. Would score easily. Shaw's been great in spots like this. The Brewers leader in RBIs. 57 of them. Full count to Shaw. See what Volquez has in mind. On the ground, fair, just inside the bag, and an easy play for Justin Bour to win the inning. So the Brewers get a runner at second, come up empty. 2-1 Miami as we go to the 7th. Up here, our game summary is we go to the 7th inning, and it was a slap double down the line by J.T. Riddle, the rookie shortstop. That drove in the first run. This was part of a 2-run 5th inning. And then it was Deke Gordon in a safety squeeze with the other RBI. And then Stephen Vogt in the bottom of the 5th gets the Brewers on the board with his first Miller Park home run. 5th home run of the season for Vogt. Started his year in Oakland. And that's where we are as we go to the 7th. 2-1. Marlins have out hit the Brewers 7-3. Matt Garza left the bases loaded in that 5th inning. And that has become the key moment in this game, a strikeout of Ozuna, especially if the Brewers come back to win. And the future Hall of Famer is getting a pinch hit appearance. Ichiro will bat for Miami. This is essentially his role now. He'll come off the bench. He's been great too, as you would imagine. He has 12 hits as a pinch hitter, which leads all pinch hitters in the NL. And he got a good chunk of Stephen Vogt with that foul ball.
Got to run it off though. Check it out. He's got Torres running with him. Did you see him?
I'll jog with you back to the mound.
That was good, teammates. Look at him. Light on his feet.
Every day we get a chance to watch Ichiro in person is a treat. Yeah, look at Torres. Says, all right, I'll jog with him. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a swing and a miss. As great as Ichiro has been in the big leagues, he was a dominant force in Japan too before he even arrived to Major League Baseball. 7 times he led the National League, or American League, excuse me, in hits, led his league in hits. Had 262 hits in 2004.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
He had 372 that year. That's been his highest batting average. He is a career .312 hitter. Chopper out to first base. Aguilar will make the play. Ichiro is out. He's 43 years of age, Rock, and he's still one of those guys you make a point to go down and watch take batting practice when his team is in town.
Yep, .312 career batting average, a lot higher than that before the last couple of years. A first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no
I don't
doubt.
think there's any question. Amazing career.
Both sides of the ball too. One of the greatest right fielders defensively in Major League Baseball. Deke Gordon back to the top of the order. Ichiro's got an MVP. He's got a Rookie of the Year. Those came in the same year. He won the Gold Glove award in each of his first 10 seasons in the majors.
I'm with you on everything but the Rookie of the Year. I don't like it.
He was 27 when he won Rookie of the Year.
How many years in Japan? In the big leagues at that point?
I think he had 9 at that point.
Yeah.
Eight seasons in Japan. Bouncing ball to third. Shaw hustles it over to first. Gordon is retired. Carlos Torres pitching in his 2nd inning.
Hey, Cutter's been good tonight. I mean, he's been eating up some left-handed hitters.
Giancarlo Stanton now. Can't let off the gas with this guy at the plate. Get the first 2 men out. That's why Mattingly likes him hitting second. He's trying to increase the amount of times he'll bat in a game. And what a weapon.
Did you see his BP today?
Just stunning.
I mean,
you could hear his BP today.
Yeah, Bernie was running for cover.
Up in the chalet, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, it is one of the more incredible things to see.
Not the upper level Bernie, but where he ends his slide. You don't see many up there.
We have a name for the chalet. What do we call the area where he lands? I've never really thought about that. Used to be the beer mug, but
I don't know.
We need to name that pretty soon. Since it's brand new and all. I mean, when did the ballpark open? 2001? You and Vasgersian couldn't come up with something back in the day?
Oh, he had some names for it.
Right off the end of the bat. Anything you could offer on air, or?
Not really. Bernie Slide.
I got nothing. See, it's that night game getaway last night the Reds put on us.
We'd have had 4 or 5 things by now.
I would have. They got what they deserve. Just an empty vessel. As usual. 2-2 the count. Skips in for ball 3. Looking ahead to the Milwaukee 7th. Santana, Perez, and Vogt. Vogt hit the home run for the only Brewer tally thus far. 5th inning homer. Could easily have a couple of home runs as a Brewer. Had a 3-run home run robbed by Scott Schebler in Cincinnati. Got him. Torres strikes out. Stanton fires the bat down and the helmet. And the inning is over. Domingo Santana ready to lead off. The Brewers down a run. Stretch time at Miller Park.
Marlins up by a run and make a trip to the ballpark this Sunday afternoon. The Brewers and the Marlins close out their weekend series with a 1 o'clock showdown, and all fans in attendance will get a highly accurate Zach Davies bobblehead complete with forearm tattoo and special 4th of July uniforms courtesy of Clemens Sausage. Highly accurate.
Miller Lite, what's on tap? Highly accurate pitching probables tomorrow. Tom Kohler's been announced as the Marlins starter. He'll be activated tomorrow. And then Zach Davies, as Rock mentioned, pitching for the Brewers, coming off his 8th win of the season. Remember, that's on FS1 tomorrow, 3:10 first pitch. You can also catch that on the Brewers radio network with the Hall of Famer Bob Uecker, Jeff Levering. David Phelps is on the pitch, Rock.
And it's usually Phelps, Bear Claw, and then Ramos to close out games in a winning scenario for Don Mattingly. .355 the earned run average. His last 3 appearances have been scoreless. Last time out on the 27th against the Mets, a scoreless inning.
Volquez goes 6, 3 hits, 1 run, and he exits with a lead. Only run was a Stephen Vogt home run. Volquez struck out 4. Santana at the plate. Look out. A little bit late, almost hit Perez in the on deck circle. Phelps has a, as they say in the industry, a starter mix. Means
throws them all.
Throws 4 pitches, right?
Fastball, curve, slider, change.
Most relievers throw 2 pitches. Some throw 3. Very few throw 4. Only the starting pitchers normally do that. So he's a handful for a hitter to try to see and know quickly when you're facing him usually once a game.
And when he goes in there, it's usually guys normally that have all 4 pitches they'll identify which is the best pitches that he's throwing, maybe 2, maybe 3, and go with those. It's nice to be able to have that many to go to.
Marlins have a very good winning version of their bullpen. They get a lead late and they are tough to beat. As Rock mentioned, Phelps and then Bearclaw in the 8th and A.J. Ramos their closer. Santana's a little late. Santana with 13 home runs now on the Powerball home run leaderboard, 3rd on the club, tied with Broxton. Thames has the night off from the starting lineup. He has 20, up among league leaders. 2-2 to Domingo Santana, and time is asked for and given.
Pretty good heater.
Yeah, his best one yet, 95.
95. He's been mixing it up. Pitches in, pitches away.
Domingo Santana leading off this 7th inning. Brewers Marlins game 1 tonight. Outside, ball 3. Santana will take his walks. He has a very good eye at the plate. On base percentage at .361 currently. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He lined out to the shortstop in the 2nd. Struck out his last time up. Payoff pitch. And it is ball 4. Santana draws the walk. That was close.
And that at bat started out a 1-2 count. And laid off some tough pitches. Just did miss the strike zone that time. That was a 9-pitch at bat.
Good battle for Santana. Now the tying run is on. Go ahead run coming up in Hernan Perez. Had a notion. Big swing. Hernan singled at center field in the 2nd inning. Bounced to 2nd his last time up. Been a great ride for Perez to the big leagues. Came up in the Tiger system as a prospect shortstop. Tigers pushed him to the major leagues quickly because of a knee. They had injuries at the shortstop position, so Perez was probably called up sooner than the Tigers had hoped. He was 21 when he first appeared in the majors. That was back in 2012. And then what happened was the Tigers got themselves in a pennant race, and they had players come off the disabled list. Next thing you know, there was no spots on the major league roster for Perez, or even on the major league roster. So they took him off, hoping to clear him through waivers and sneak him back into the minor league system. And that was the year the Brewers jumped on him 2 years ago. Perez is down on strikes. A little out of character there for Perez. chasing.
Just good fastball right there. Had something on it, up out of the zone. Yep, off the outside corner and gets his strikeout.
Well, here comes Stephen Vogt at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Homered his last time up. Brewers are hoping that Vogt comes to Milwaukee and a change of scenery gets him hot.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first guy that would happen. A lot of players seemingly having a difficult time, get traded, and all of a sudden catch new life.
It's off to a good start. He was 1 for 4 in Cincinnati. One of those at-bats was a pinch hit appearance. Had 2 hits taken away from him, including a 3-run homer. Scott Schebler pulled one back in right field. But he gets his home run in the 5th inning here tonight. Vogt will probably catch 2 out of 5 days. Pena will have the other 3. That's been the rhythm for Craig Counsell so far this year. Well, Cutter is in there for a strike. 0-2 now on Vogt.
Yep, cutter, knuckle curve. Yeah, 4-seamer, 2-seamer, and got it all working.
Santana with a leadoff walk. He's at first. Take you back to his first Brewer homer. Comes in the 5th with 1 out. And Volquez tried to sneak a fastball by him, and Vogt didn't miss.
Yep, down and in. Dangerous spot to put a fastball to a lefty.
He was at home in Olympia, Washington, waiting for the phone to ring when the Brewers claimed him. A's have a young left-handed hitting catcher that needs playing time. That's one of the main reasons why they made Vogt available, putting him on the waiver wire. The Brewers were quick to jump on him. Vogt was designated for assignment on the 22nd of June. DFA'd. That one's into center field. Did he get it? Yelich is back. He looks up, and it is gone. A home run for Vogt. 2-run shot. And the Brewers have taken the lead, and welcome to Milwaukee. Stephen Vogt, second homer of the game. Go ahead, crack a smile, big fella. Yes, sir. He is a Brewer now. And he has quickly learned how to go down through the gauntlet. He's had 3 multi-homer games in his career. How about a curtain call? You bet. Yeah. I mean, if there was ever a guy who looks like a Brewer, it's Stephen Vogt.
I'll tell you what, you just put the uniform on, you become a home run hitter this year, right?
Boy, what a moment at Miller Park. Stephen Vogt, just his second start as a Brewer, his second home run of the night, and it gives the Brewers a 3-2 lead.
Yeah, it was on a 1-2 pitch. Yep.
Broxton a swing and a miss.
Well, Phelps easy to get ahead of some of these hitters. He walked Santana after getting ahead 1-2 and made a mistake right down the middle to Vogt. Place is buzzing.
It is. There's a good chant going on for Vogt too. And cannot acclimate yourself any better than that. First start as a Brewer, second home run puts Milwaukee on top.
Yep, center cut fastball. Bye.
Bangs it off the batter's eye. And a curtain call. That's great. What a moment for him. Think about his struggle all year. I mean, as he said when he first arrived to the team, he was heartbroken to be DFA'd by the A's. That was family for him.
A lot of the players on the A's were disappointed.
Gets a new start. Fresh start. Change of scenery. Big moment. One of the things the Brewers like about Vogt is the fact that he has been involved in 2 different postseasons. Was with the A's when they went to the division series against the Tigers in 2013. Played in that wild card game in 2014. That wild card game. Swing and a miss. Broxton is down on strikes. Second out of the inning. 2 Ks for Phelps. And we'll have a pinch hitter now with 2 outs in the 7th. Orlando Arcia will bat. And I'm sure he'll stay in the game to play shortstop now that the Brewers have a lead. Two outs. Here's Arcia. And a good cut. Orlando's been hot. He's not getting the day off because he needs time off with a struggling bat. Council just realized he's been so hot for so long. He hasn't had any days off.
Yep. Average up to 275.
On May 18th, Arcia was hitting 208. He's hit 336 since that time. So about 6 weeks. He's hitting at a 336 clip and hitting 275 overall coming into play tonight.
And pulling the ball a lot.
0-2 pitch. Pulls that one in the hole, and it's bobbled by Riddle. Arcia will reach. I'm not sure Riddle's going to be able to throw him out anyway, even if he comes up with it cleanly. Arcia's aboard, and the inning continues.
You know, we saw a pretty good play early in the game on a ball similar to that, but Arcia runs a lot quicker than Matt Garza. He was trying to get himself in position to throw. The ball came up on him, hit him in the wrist.
That'll be a base hit for Arcia. Infield single. Back to the top of the order. Here comes Sogard. Sogard's had another good night at the plate. Back in that leadoff spot. He's walked. He's singled. On base twice. On base percentage riding over 450 steadily.
Another former Brewer coming out. Pitching coach Juan Nieves.
I heard he threw a no-hitter for the Brewers once. The only no-hitter in Brewer history. Nieves, caught by the great Bill Schroeder. Boy, he's got to be feeling super confident right now, Stephen Vogt. New ball club. He's been really swinging the bat well. I mean, you think about his night the other night. He barreled up everything that night. In his only other start. It was back on Wednesday.
Nice to get on the good graces of the fans your first home game.
Ride that wave. That's what the Brewers are hoping for. Sogard's been riding that wave for a long time now, since mid-May. 2 balls and a strike. Sogard, a little tapper. Tough play here. Riddle coming in. Throw to first and just in time. They might take a look at it here. Inning is over. 3-2. The Brewers have the lead. And Counsell says wave it on. They got him. We go to break. Stephen Vogt goes out of the yard. First run of the National League is a success for Stephen Vogt. 2-run homer gives Milwaukee the lead. Tonight, and his last home run, a 2-run shot. Now the Brewers are on top 3-2, trying to snatch one back from the Marlins here tonight. You can get live broadcast, scoring, updates, breaking news, and more right at your fingertips with MLB.com At Bat, the official app of the Milwaukee Brewers. Download At Bat today. It's free for your smartphone or tablet. Changes for the Brewers. Rock Arcia will stay in the game to play shortstop. Sogard is out, so it'll be Arcia and VR up the middle, and the new pitcher is Jacob Barnes.
Well, it's been a while for Jacob. He has not appeared in a game since way back on June 22nd against the Pirates. A scoreless inning. There have been a couple of times that he's been up and getting loose in the bullpen, but this is a lot of time off and a lot of rest for Jacob Barnes.
Barnes has been terrific in the 8th, setting up for Corey Knebel. Like the Marlins, the Brewers are very good with their late inning relief when they have leads. And Barnes bringing the gas at 98 miles an hour.
Yeah, got to feel like he's feeling pretty good tonight.
By the way, Rock, Bingo Betty Carlson, one of our favorite Brewer fans, just stopped by the booth. She's celebrating her 90th birthday.
Yep.
And that's what she said. She said, it's my 90th birthday again. But we all want to wish the best to Bingo Betty.
Yep.
She's awesome. She's so much fun. She had a Brewers jersey on.
She brought us some treats. Yep.
Sporting the Puma suedes. She's a hip grandma. Glad to have her.
And don't even mess with her at the bingo table.
She's got those daubers going fast.
Yep. Buddy Jim Carlson bringing Mom and his brother Jack. Yep. Having fun at the ballpark. We let them stay for another half because they got 2 runs while they were sitting waiting in the back. So
they can't leave.
Good karma.
Vogt wants to get it straight with Barnes. Remember, this is the first time Vogt has caught Jacob Barnes. Hardly even noticed that Vogt is a new catcher because he has spent so much time with the pregame prep. He's been the first one here every day since he arrived. He's been catching bullpens. He's done great work trying to acclimate the defensive side of it. That's what's impressive about the offensive side of it as well, because that's the last thing on a new catcher's mind is how he is going to hit. There's a lot to learn, right, in a short amount of time.
Yep, doing a shake-off, obvious fastball situation. Just put a little doubt in the hitter's mind.
3-2 pitch, and he eat him up with a fastball. Yelich able to foul it off.
If you can catch in the big leagues, I mean, you can move from team to team and pick up on what pitchers like to do very quickly. If you put the time in. So much information out there these days makes it a little bit easier, but on the flip side of that, it can be easier and can be more difficult. You got to be able to manage all that.
3-2 again, and a bouncing ball coming in VR. Nice easy hop for him. Yelich is out. One away.
Hey, tonight's time of the game winner. Charlie's in lacrosse. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Say hello to all of our friends in lacrosse watching tonight over there in Damian Miller territory.
By the way, how about the job for Carlos Torres tonight?
Yep.
Outstanding work.
He deserves high praise. Settled the game down. Garza got out of a mess. Still, that key at bat, that's the one you put a big box around. Garza striking out Marcell Ozuna with the bases loaded. The game completely changed right there. Brewers were down 2-0 at the time. Marlins went from looking for a knockout punch to feeling like they wasted an opportunity.
Yeah, Garza came up with his two best sliders in that at bat. Yeah, got him.
Turned it over to Torres, who went the next 2 innings scoreless, allowing only an infield hit. Now it's Barnes against Ozuna. He was having an all-star year. I'm sure he'll be in Miami for the all-star game in a couple of weeks. Big numbers. He's got 93 hits already. One and two the count. Nice block by Vogt, just in case he swings. Brewers lead at 3-2. Vogt with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 7th. If you're just joining us. In his first game at Miller Park. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. Nasty slider from Jacob Barnes. First strikeout for Barnes. 2 up, 2 down.
Ozuna's had a difficult time laying off that pitch tonight. Way off the outside corner. The pitch that Garza got him to swing and miss on with the bases loaded. Very similar spot.
Tell you, what world are we living in with 93-mile-an-hour sliders? Nasty.
Jacob Barnes with 8 days off.
That's right. He calls that a cutter, that pitch. His slider is like 90, I guess, right? So that's a cutter, but it looks the same to me. One of them's got the hair on it, though. Get strike one on Justin Bour. Dangerous power hitter at the plate right here for the Marlins as well. Jammed him. Pop-up foul and out of play. That'll send a few bees through the hands.
Yeah. Especially when you don't wear batting gloves.
Two outs. 0-2 to count. Crowd's into it. They want to see a punch out here. And in the dirt.
Yeah, you got to watch down and in. If you get it down and in to this guy, the lefty, you better get it way down. You don't want to leave it up. That's where lefties like it, down and in. We saw Vogt turn on a down and in fastball. Travis Shaw loves it down there. Try to elevate the fastball right here. Just blow it right by him up in his zone.
Vogt wants a breaking ball, looks like. 1-2 the count. Here it comes, and he got him. Put it in the perfect spot. Jacob Barnes looking like Brad Lidge in his heyday. Man, that is a big-time slider. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts in the 8th for Barnes.
Lead over the Marlins, the first of his 6-game homestand for the Brew Crew, and Stephen Vogt, the new Brewers catcher, making his Miller Park debut here with 2 home runs. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. And, you know, that's what it took, a little home cooking, because, boy, he swung the bat good on the road, got robbed of a home run. It's 2 for 3 tonight with 3 RBIs.
That's a good fit, folks, right there for that new Brewer catcher. Indeed, we've got Brewers Live presented by Ascension coming up on the way. Vogt, by the way, 4 RBIs total in his 2 starts. The bullpen doing a terrific job so far as well. We'll hear from Craig Counsell, plenty more coming up after the ballgame. Brewers Live presented by Ascension, BA.
And look at him working on the defensive side, having a chat with his pitcher, Jacob Barnes. And I'm sure that conversation went something like, "That's one of the best sliders I've ever seen, young man."
Either that or did you see that home run I hit?
Yeah, probably something like that, too. All right, here we go to the Brewers 8th. VR will lead off. Nice play by Gordon. And he'll make the play for out number 1. VR out on the first pitch. Didn't give us a chance to set up the new Marlins pitcher, Kyle Bearclaw.
Yeah, having a nice season. More strikeouts than innings pitched. 36th appearance at 331 earned run average. He got a blown save his last time out against the Mets. That was back in Florida. That was 3 days ago. Gave up a run in an inning of work.
One of the great names in the big leagues, Bearclaw. Here's Jesus Aguilar on his birthday today in the starting lineup. Aguilar turning 27 today, getting his first real chance in the big leagues. He's been up and down a little bit the last 3 years with the Indians, but nothing like this opportunity, and he's making the most of it. He's been terrific. Back-to-back days as a starter. Drove in 4 yesterday. Had a home run and a double. Ooh, green light 3-0.
Yeah.
Big man lets it eat.
Howard one by him on the inside corner.
He's got the kind of power and the bat speed. Even his swings and misses are entertaining.
Thing is, when he swings like that, he very rarely hits him out. It's that nice easy swing like we saw in last night's game in Cincinnati. Ball just jumps off his bat.
3-1. 3-2 now. Brewers have gotten to a very good late bullpen for the Marlins. That 2-run homer by Vogt. Jammed him, a pop-up right up the pipe. Yeah, that's going to be in the seats.
And not a lot of room back there. That looked like ball 4.
3-2 the count. Another one comes. Got him. Nasty breaking ball from Bearclaw, and it's out number 1. Comes all the way back from 3-0 to get Aguilar. Don't forget, a full lineup of Brewers baseball for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin and FS1 tomorrow. FS1 has the broadcast, game 2 of the series. They're going to hit the air at 2:30. First pitch at 3:10. Aaron Goldsmith and Mark Sweeney will have the call. And then we're back Sunday. Series wraps up here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers Live presented by Ascension. Get it started at 12:30. Travis Shaw with 1 away. Beg your pardon, with 2 away. Shaw is hitless tonight. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Every home game is a bit of a gift for Travis Shaw because he gets to play in a game that he loves, and then he gets to be with his newborn daughter, who is recovering from 2 open heart surgeries. That's something he cannot do on the road, and these home games mean a lot to him. That's a swinging strike, and the count is now 3-2. Saw Travis's dad Jeff in Cincinnati. He's been with him. Family's been very supportive, and a lot of family with the Shaws during this time. A swing and a miss. Bearclaw retires the side in order. And here we go to the 9th. Last call for the Marlins. Corey Knebel trying to nail down the save. And a Brewer win at Miller Park tonight.
Tonight's Brewers game on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Roof is open. Beautiful night for baseball. Summerfest going on just a few miles from here. Great time to be in Milwaukee. And the Brewers are trying to snatch one back on the Miami Marlins. They were down going into the bottom of the 7th. Vogt gave them the lead with a 2-run homer. And Rockets' Corey Knebel to try to nail down the save, which would be his 13th of the season.
Well, outstanding work. A long string of consecutive games with a strikeout. He's got 66 punch-outs in just shy of 39 innings of work. That one loss came in Cincinnati, came in a tie game in the 8th inning against the Reds, gave up a run and suffered his first loss of the season.
Knebel will face JT Realmuto to start his 9th inning. Dietrich to follow, then Riddle are the scheduled hitters. This is the bottom of the Miami batting order. But this is also the part of the batting order that got the rally started in the 5th inning. Only inning the Marlins have scored the 2-run 5th. Matt Garza started, went 5, giving up those 2 runs. Right now, Carlos Torres is in line for the win after 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Barnes worked a scoreless 8th with 2 strikeouts. And now Knebel. Three balls, no strikes. Realmuto has hit 7 home runs. 1 for 3 tonight. His infield hit got it started in the 5th. And that's ball 4. Boy, tough way to start this inning for Knebel. Walked him on 4 straight.
Nothing even close to the strike zone. Unusual for Knebel.
Knebel, unlike most closers, has a very good move to first base. He does control a running game better than most. Most closers don't even bother. That could be important in a spot like this because Realmuto is fast and has already stolen a base tonight, which set up the run scoring inning in the 5th. Here's Dietrich.
Got a quick move to first, but he can be slow to home plate.
Knebel is trying to set a major league record tonight with at least 1 strikeout in consecutive games. In the air, left center. That could be big trouble on the run. Broxton can't get it. That's going to go to the wall. Realmuto is around third. He's going to try to score. The throw from Arcia. The tag. He is out at the plate. Oh my goodness. What a relay.
Boy.
Perez to Arcia to Vogt. How about it?
Now, how about that? But why would you in the world send him on that? Nobody out. Ball in the gap would be 2nd and 3rd and nobody out, and they send him and he gets thrown out. Boy, oh boy. Boy, this is a great play by Perez. Watch his throw all the way into Arcia. 2 very good arms, right on the money. And Joe West rings him up. They want to take a look at it. I'll tell you,
it's going to be close. He tagged him on the rib, and he might have got the hand in there.
Does a good job not blocking off the plate. Not really going to be able to tell on that. I mean, it's going to be very close, but I'll say it again. I have no idea why they sent him with nobody out. There's the tag right there. Hand's not down yet. That's the best angle right there, it looks like.
Well, the call on the field is out. Is there enough evidence there to overturn it is the big question right now. Joe West was coming over to make that call from first base as the umpires rotate.
There you go. There's a tag right there. He's got him.
Yeah.
Yep, good look at it right there. That should be the one, right?
That's Freddie Gonzalez, the third base coach. That is just a bad decision by Freddie Gonzalez to send it with nobody out.
Former Braves manager, third base coach of the Marlins now. And the cutoff and relay executed to perfection by two guys with very strong throwing arms.
Well, it all starts with Perez. All the way in the air. Perfect throw by Arcia, and they get the out. And the other thing about that play, Stephen Vogt did not block off home plate. That's important.
And did you notice Vogt as well? He kind of looked like and acted as if there was no throw coming, or he kind of relaxed a little. Then at the last moment, snatched the throw out of the air and made the tag. One away, runner at second. Dietrich with a double. He carries the tying run. JT Riddle at the plate. Arcia just into the game, remember, after he pinch hit in for defense. There's a swing and a miss, and there's a good curveball by Knebel.
Well, last time he had a long layoff, he had a difficult time with the curveball. That was in Cincinnati. That was a good one that time.
Knebel already has a major league record for consecutive games with a strikeout to start a season. He's trying to set an overall major league record with a strikeout here tonight. 1-1 pitch, fouled back, 1-2 the count.
Well, talk about a reprieve. If you're Corey Knebel, you're thinking you just had the game tied and get a good play, and that's what we're talking about. Bruce Sutter, 1977, so you're going back a while.
This is games by a reliever with at least one strikeout, 39 in a row. You'd love a strikeout right here. Runner at second base, one out. And did he go? Good block back there by Vogt.
Yep, keeps him at second base.
Able to check his swing. Knebel passed Aroldis Chapman for the major league record to start a season with a strikeout. If you're wondering what the difference is. Tying run at second, 2-2 the count. Well, the young rookie shortstop. And that one just missed. 97, a little bit inside.
Yep, it did miss. It was high enough, but missed in off the plate.
BR on his way in. Might be looking at the signs here, huh? When the second baseman comes in like this.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of these kind of delays when you've got, you know, a 3-2 count coming up. Let his pitchers stay in rhythm. It might be a sign issue.
No sign given this time. He knows what he wants. Full count. Tying run at second. And a swing and a miss. And there it is. A major league record for Corey Knebel. 40 consecutive games with at least one strikeout. Never been done by a reliever. How about that? They'll save that baseball. Knebel has one more piece to the puzzle here.
Nice curveball down in the strike zone, and that's a big swing by Riddle.
Brewers have found something with this guy. Got a reprieve defensively, but he's got a dangerous hitter up there. Martin Prado with 2 outs. Pinch hitter. Veteran hitter at the plate. Starts him with a bender, and he lands it. Strike one.
Yeah, Brewers outfield is relatively shallow, trying to prevent that run from scoring on a base hit. That really opens up those gaps. See how shallow they are, particularly in left and center.
Reds beat the Cubs tonight. They shut them out 5-0. A win for the Brewers. They would go up 2 games in the National League Central on the last day of June. Game number 82 of the year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tying run at second base in Dietrich. Prado takes a ball. Contact hitter in Prado. Been an all-star. This guy's had a good career. He's tough in spots like this.
Yeah, you're going to earn this 3rd out.
Top of the order would hit next if Prado reaches. D. Gordon waits. The 2-1. Yeah, he buckled his knees, but he didn't get the call. A little bit high. 3-1 now. Knebel was a closer in college at the University of Texas. Craig Counsell had no reservations at all about putting him in that role this year in the big leagues. Took over for Neftali Feliz in mid-May. Vogt wants to start over again. Feliz has since been released. And Barnes and Knebel have been a dynamic duo at the end of games. 2 outs, 9th inning, runner at second. Hitters count for Prado. And he missed inside, ball 4. I don't think Prado had any thought of swinging right there. Did you see how close he stood on top of the plate for that 3-1 pitch?
Yep, and they were determined to come inside anyway. Well, you figure now the Brewers outfield is going to have to step back a couple of steps, because if there is a base hit into the gap, it could bring across the go-ahead run, not just a tying run out there now. Although you have a guy up there that really doesn't drive the ball too much.
Gordon has only faced Knebel once, or actually twice. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. 2 plate appearances against him. Knebel misses with a fastball. Not by much. Jose Urena is pinch running, one of the Marlins pitchers. Tying run at second. Go ahead run at first. D. Gordon at the plate, and a fastball strike. Got the call that time. That was a gift. Gordon is correct in his assessment of that pitch.
Up and away, 98. Not happy about it.
Knebel will take it. Look where this one ends up. That makes a difference. 1-1 instead of 2-0. Crowd is quiet, anxious here in the 9th. Yeah, Knebel misses.
You got to be careful with that curveball. You leave one up, you're really playing into the hands of D. Gordon. He just slapped that ball in the left field.
You know he's got to be looking fastball here, right?
Yep.
Hasn't been able to get the breaking ball over.
Amazing how shallow that outfield is for the Brewers.
Trying to cut down the potential tying run. Here's a 2-1, and he chased it. He's mad at himself. A high fastball at 97, and it's 2-2 now.
Yep, about letter high.
What's he going to give him? Fastball or curve? 2-2 on the way. Fastball called, strike 3, and the ball game is over. The Brew Crew beating the Marlins tonight. Knebel with not only a save, but a major league record here tonight. 40 consecutive games with at least 1 strikeout. What a ball game tonight, partner. Stephen Vogt gives him the lead. The Brewers bullpen does the rest.
Yep, no kidding. Pitch right on the inside corner at 97. He wasn't about to make a mistake with a curveball. Look at Vogt. He gets the strikeout, and Yeah, what a first impression it is for Stephen Vogt here in Milwaukee. What a good game. Brewers bouncing off the mat, coming from behind.
Tremendous defensive play on the cutoff and relay to cut down a potential tying run as well. All of that will be looked at on Brewers Live. And Craig Kashawn is standing by. Take it away, Craig.
Okay, BA, looking forward to it for sure. The Brewers, a big win here in come from behind fashion. Steven, get your vote. Indeed. The catcher making his Miller Park debut. We will hear from him coming up. Also, Craig Counsell gets you set for game 2 of the series next on Brewers Live.